and Coopers. Ever noticed how thirsty you get watching the football?
Being the first team in the grand final was a great experience, and to win it, we're obviously going to be the inaugural champions of the A-League, something that'll go down in history and that no one will ever forget.
Sydney are into the grand final. What a goal from Brunen, and the Cove has gone crazy.
It's definitely an honour. It's going to be a thrill. I think the first season of the A-League's been absolutely fantastic, and to lead the boys out grand final day is something I'll never forget.
We tagged the Glamour team and all this sort of stuff, but we put in a lot of hard work for this, and we've always been focused on the championship. Would have been nice to finish premiers, but the main goal was the championship.
Sydney are a great team. They've got obviously their superstars of the team, the likes of Dwight York and a few Australian internationals as well. But we believe we've got a great team. We believe we're the best team in the competition.
They're a tough side. We've only beaten them once in the league, but we've met them 5 times. We have lost at home. We haven't won at home against them.
And it's gone in! I do not believe it!
We're a tight-knit team, and we'll fight for each other until the last minute of extra time or whatever it takes.
Take away the finals that have been played in the last few weeks, take away the season that's been played, forget all that. We've got a lot of players with grand final experience, we've got a lot of players who've been there and done that, and that may well be the difference.
We're going to want it more. Basically, we're going to want it more. I think, we've come through a lot this season. Everyone's knocked us, everyone's put us down and said, we're going to finish 7th, and the desperation is going to be there. We're going to be hungry, and I think we're going to come away with the cup.
It's football's version of David and Goliath. The working-class Mariners up against high flyers Sydney. Who will be crowned the inaugural A-League champions? It's the Hyundai A-League Grand Final, and it's live and exclusive on Fox Sports.
Yes, it's all been said, it's all been written, the tension is building, and what a day we're in for. The verdict awaits us as either Sydney FC or the Central Coast Mariners will become the history makers, the first champions of the Hyundai A-League. And one man looking forward to what should be a titanic battle is the national assistant coach, Graham Arnold. Look, haves against have-nots, guts against glamour, it's all been rolled out. For different reasons, these sides come in, but when it gets down to cases, how do you see the match unfolding?
Look, it's down to 90 minutes, isn't it? If it doesn't go into extra time. 2 sides that are going to go out and give everything they've got. 23 weeks have gone past. Everyone's talked about the Glamour Club, Sydney, Central Coast. Laurie McKenna's played it perfect this year. They've played the underdog tag the whole year. This should be an absolute pelter of a game.
Everyone's got an opinion on this match. It should be a beauty, as I say, for many, many different reasons coming in. Well, the atmosphere should be terrific. Let's find out more and go down to a man who's right in amongst it all on the sidelines, Robbie Slater, right in front of the famous Sydney FC Cove. Now, Robbie, I believe an important change made by Pierre Littbarski to the starting lineup.
Yes, look, it's a big surprise. He's brought in Terry McFlynn for Ruben Zatkovic, of course, who's only played in the last month, really. So he's gone with experience. He might change the system he plays. He normally goes with like a 4-4-2, Corica playing off Petrovski. I've got a funny feeling he might go something like a 4-2-1-3 with Corica on the left, Carney on the right, and giving Dwight York a free roll. That will leave Bingley and McFlynn to screen the back 4. But I'll tell you what, Neil, I don't think it'll matter how they play, because right behind me, this Cove, they're just on fire. It's an amazing atmosphere, and mate, I'm so looking forward to this game.
Well, you're down there with the Cove, of course, at the other end of the ground, the travelling Marinators, of course. Looking at the Central Coast, do you have a feeling they might just come out and charge at this Sydney side?
Look, I think one thing that's been very evident the way Central Coast play is they do not change. Laurie McKenna doesn't change his system at all. He likes to play with wide plays. They've got very powerful runners in Gumprecht and Tommy Ponliak. I think Ponliak's a real key today. And also that back 4 that has been rock solid, Alex Wilkinson, Michael Beecham and Andrew Clark and Dean Heffernan, the goal-scoring left back, have been absolutely outstanding. I think it'll be the same again from the Mariners. They play with no fear. They come here as the underdogs, but as a lot of people will tell you, nothing's been a fairy tale on the pitch. They are a good, solid side who are unbeaten in 12 games.
They are indeed, Robbie Slater. Thanks very much for that. They are a fearless side, the Central Coast Mariners. Of course, everyone's got an opinion on this historic first final. Let's find out more now from the fans.
Let's go, Mariners! Let's go! Let's go, Mariners! Let's go!
And there are the fans. A little soundbite there of what you can expect, and that is going to build up, well, 1,000%, Graham Arnold.
Look at the fans, they're coming in droves. Whoever would have thought at the start of the season, if someone had said to me there's going to be 42,000 people packed in the Sydney Football Stadium, Aussie Stadium now, and that it's going to be sold out 10 days before. I wouldn't have believed them. What a great day this is going to be.
What about the pressure?
Well, that's a big key, isn't it? You know, you look at the two sides, how both sides will handle the pressure. A lot of these players haven't been in this environment before, haven't played in this type of atmosphere. One player who has is Dwight Yorke. He'll be fatigued after his flight back from Europe, but I'm sure he'll stand up and try and take the team by the horns.
A lot of questions to be answered here on Grand Final Day. As a man, I'm very glad to introduce to our live coverage the Chief Executive of Football Federation Australia, John O'Neill. Well, John, welcome to our coverage and welcome to a wonderful day. When you look back at it all, I said 89 games, one to go. What's pleased you the most?
Oh, look, the whole competition, the way the fans have embraced it. Really, when we launched it, we weren't sure whether the fans would take to it, and they have. Crowds have come through the turnstiles. Viewers have watched it on Fox Sports. The football's been great, and this is the pinnacle today. 42,000 people, as Arnie said. Who would have thought it? And you couldn't have scripted it better. You know, the bling blings against the Central Coast Mariners. What a day.
And indeed, so John, I guess the fans, you talk about the fans, such a cultural exchange between the fans. They've come from everywhere, different types, but the common goal, all getting behind football now.
Well, it's Australia United. I mean, we saw it on the 16th of November last year when we beat Uruguay, and now we're seeing it through the A-League. This game has an unbelievably unifying aspect to it, and we're seeing it here today. People have come for all the right reasons to see a great game of football. Grand Final, 2006.
John, if there was anything you could change, would there be anything you would change?
No, Arnie, I mean, I think it's worked out as well as we could have possibly hoped. And sure, we're going to fill some gaps. We've got a great sponsor in Hyundai, great broadcaster in Fox Sports. It'll only get better from here. The best is yet to come for this competition.
Indeed, so a marvellous platform. We talk about fans and all that. Let's have a look now at some of the stats that you should take on board. Look at this, Sydney 12 games. Look at that average, nearly 18,000, and the aggregate above 213. Queensland outstanding, Melbourne. I guess a few problems there, John, when you look at Perth and Newcastle. Perhaps didn't quite get there, but overall, quite outstanding.
Look, there was really only one club that was out of it on and off the field, and that was New Zealand.
New Zealand, yeah.
And we've got to work on them. But really, the rest of them, when you think about the base we're working from, and you look at those average crowds, you look at the quality of the football, the way the whole event has been presented, we're in the mass entertainment business, and we now have given the football fans of Australia something to watch.
Indeed so, and of course I should mention that we do have the inaugural championship trophy alongside us here. Now I believe a ton of work went into bringing that one together.
Well, it was a competition and won by Design 3, and look, it's new, it's novel, it's different, and that's what we are. We're new, we're novel, we're different. And this trophy will be proudly held by one of these great grand final teams by close of business today.
John, no one's asked you your tip yet, so who are you tipping today?
FFA's impartiality, Arnie, as you know. I barrack for the Socceroos, and apart from that, I'm not allowed to barrack for anyone else.
Fair enough, John. Looking forward, of course, much more work to do, I guess, with salary caps, flexibility with squads, but the business of guest players. I know a lot of clubs have already looked ahead to the second season about possible guest players. I guess when you look at, take Kazu, a great experiment that was. Are we going to see, I guess, more flexibility in that area?
We're going to see a number of improvements, and one of the improvements will be around guest players. Kazu was a standout success, and we've listened to the clubs on that subject. Look, we've listened to the clubs on a range of subjects where you'll see enhancements next season, and particularly financial stability and security is the biggest issue we're working on at the moment.
All right, John, well, it is a terrific day for football. I guess you're just wonderfully glad that this day has arrived. We've got good conditions, great weather, and two teams that deserve to be here.
Well, Neil, I'm very proud, very relieved, actually, but I'm very proud to see this atmosphere building up. This is what football's all about. This is as good as it gets, and we will see a cracker of a game. May the best team win.
All right, John, have a terrific day, and thanks for joining us.
Thanks, Neil. Thanks, Arnie.
There he is, the Chief Executive of Football Federation Australia, John O'Neill. Now, of course, one of the great competitions we've been running right through the A-League season, our own Player of the Year. Now, when the voting went a little secret, or a lot secret, this is the way it was after round 15. Nick Carl on 16 points. The two Sydney players, Corica and Yorke, on 14. Carl Veert from Adelaide was there as well. Andre Gumprecht from the heart of midfield for the Mariners on 12. Huksu Siao on 11, Brosk 11, and Angelo Costanzo on 10. So that's the way it came in. There were 6 rounds left. Let's have a quick look now at the best of the action from round 16 and 17.
In rounds 16 and 17, Mariners midfielder Andre Gumprecht was awarded full marks after netting the first of his side's 4 goals against the Jets on New Year's Eve. Hard-working midfielder Richard Kitzbichler earned a point for his attacking runs against Perth at Olympic Park, while Alex Brosk picked up a point as Queensland's player of the match in the Roar's 2-0 win at Members Equity Stadium.
There is some of the best action after 17 rounds. Nick Carl still on top by 1 point to Gumprecht. Corica, York and Veert still locked together on 14. Bross 12, Seow 11 and jumping in Richard Kitzbichler from Melbourne on 11. So not too many changes there, but plenty more to come. Ote, we'll take a break on our live and exclusive coverage. Grand final day, and we are counting down our top 10 goals of the season. There's plenty to look forward to. To the break, we'll take you out with 10 down to 7.
At 10, no luck needed for this Irishman.
Now McFlynn might line it up. He tries to dink it over Willis, and he does it. Sydney FC fans celebrate.
A great finish. Chips in with the left foot. He knows where Willis is. Dinks this one over. Back of the net, 3-1 to Sydney.
Coming in at 9, a long-range screamer from the Roar's Korean maestro.
Caro back to Seow. Seow with the shot, and it's 1-0. Just like he did last week. Hyuk-Soo Seow hits a long-range effort and puts the Queensland side up.
At 8, Alvin Checkley loads up and fires.
Here is Alvin Checkley! Oh, yes!
Well, I said he had a powerful stroke, but that one's literally nearly broken the net. An absolute wonderful stroke from Alvin Checkley.
A great team goal from Sydney comes in at 7.
Ball off by Zatkovic, found Petrosky, little back heel, Bingley get through. Zatkovic continued the run and scores the goal brilliantly in the top corner. Sydney FC are having a field day and the Glory are being ripped to pieces.
Ruben Zatkovic, what a wonderful strike. Cool finish. Just put it in the top corner there. Gave Jason Petkovic absolutely no chance at all.
I think it can go 2 ways. I think if Sydney get a goal nice and early, they'll run away with it. But I think the longer the game goes, the longer Central Coast will be in the game. And they've shown on various occasions this year that they can get goals late in the game.
If I'm going with my heart, I'd like Central Coast to win it, but it'll be a great game. Sydney, a good team, a lot of good players. Dwight York, Sasha Petrosky, Dave Carney, they've all done well. So if both teams are on their game, it'll be an awesome grand final. But I'm going for Central Coast.
I'm actually going to go against the bookies. I'm going to back Central Coast. I think going into the game, they've been the form side, and they've had obviously a great run of results, so I'm going to back them to win the final.
I think Sydney FC is going to take it out. I just think they're too strong over the season. At the end of the season, they started really playing well, and I think they're just going to take it out.
I'll go with the underdog, Central Coast, just for the pure fact that I got a few mates in there, Dean Heffernan and a few of the other boys, so I'll stick with them for now.
I think playing at home probably might help a bit, and having the week off, I've just got a feeling maybe that Central Coast might have, already played their grand final or run out of legs, but I could be wrong.
Sydney will win on Sunday. I think Central Coast, I want Central Coast to win, but I just don't think they will. They've done very well to get there, but I think Sydney will win on Sunday 2-1.
I think Central Coast will win this weekend 1-0. They played reasonably well against us, and I think with Tommy Pontiac up front and Stuart Petrie, they'll do well enough to get a result.
I think Central Coast is going to win because they have better defence than Sydney. I think the Central Coast Marinas are going to win because they're the underdogs, so all again for the underdogs, so go the Marinas.
Well, there you go. Talk about backing for the underdog. Plenty of players around the A-League thinking Central Coast can get over the top of Sydney in this historic grand final. National Assistant Coach Graham Arnold is with me, and joining our grand final coverage, the Jets coach Richard Money. Richard, talk about the Central Coast backers. Are you one that believes that?
I am. They've turned up a very relaxed group of players. I'm sure that will change come kick-off time.
but just got a little feeling that they're going to finish on top this afternoon.
Just that fearless attitude they have that don't care about the opposition, will just play?
I think they've got a good team, Neil. You know, this is their third final. They're no underdogs. Let's make that absolutely clear. They're not underdogs, and they're where they deserve to be. And I think they're very relaxed. They feel as though they've got nothing to lose, and it might just work in their favour this afternoon.
OK, we'll find out more later. Let's cross down there now live to the Sydney FC dressing room, and head coach Pierre Littbarski joins us now. Pierre, you have made a very important change. Can you explain why you've left Zadkovic on the bench and promoted Terry McFlynn?
Yeah, I think they are strong in the middle of the park, and we put some extra player there, and I think we can bring Zadkovic anyway later. He is sharp, and he will give us the extra in the last 30 minutes.
What about when you look at key players? Mark Rudin, the way he has bounced back this season, that must be his experience and I guess his power play at the back. How vital for you guys today?
Absolutely a great factor in the last few games. He did a great job against Adelaide, and he's leading the defense, and especially for our set plays, he's very important. He's a threat to every team, so I think we can do some damage there as well.
And Pierre, of course, with Zadkovic on the bench, I guess more importance now on a big game from David Carney out wide?
I think we expecting David Carney to be the David Carney we saw in the last few months. So I think he can manage that. We're hoping also that Steve Corica is doing a lot for us. And we have also Dwight York and Sasa Petrovski. So we have enough to put some pressure on the Mariners.
All right, Pierre, best of luck. It should be a mighty game, and good luck when the boys get out there.
Thanks a lot.
There he is, Pierre Littbarski. Graham Arnold, what do you make of that? I guess a 4-2-3-1 formation, very European.
Well, very European, isn't it? And I think he's gone with an extra set of legs in midfield, defensive midfield in McFlynn. Maybe down to the fact that Dwight York's travelled a lot this week. He's had the international on Wednesday against Iceland. But also young Zadkovic, he's only a young player. He's only had 5 games at the top level.
Yep.
Maybe he's looking at just adding a little bit more experience up against the Central Coast midfield that is top class for me. It's probably the best midfield in the competition. OK, so Zadkovic kept in store for Sydney FC. Let's have a look now at the way the home side comes out formation-wise for this big grand final. Bolton at the back. Andrew Packer comes in at right fullback in place of Milligan. Rudin, Timpano and Checkley complete the back four. Carney to the right. McFlynn into partner Bingley in the middle. Corica goes wide left, and Dwight York pushes up front alongside or just in behind Sasho Petrovski. So that is the way the Sydney side looks. And, of course, the bench for Sydney FC. Well, I've got some good players on the bench. We mentioned Ruben Zadkovic. He'll be a key player. And I guess, do they have the firepower off the bench, Graham? Well, yeah, I think they do have the firepower. If you look at Zadkovic to come on, as Pierre said, when he's fresh, he adds a lot of spark to their side. But look, a lot's going to get down to Dwight York. We've talked about all year how great he's been for the A-League. He has been sensational. The Cove's in full force at the moment. The substitutions that they got there, Robbie Middleby, Osbay, he's done a good job for Blacktown, scoring 7 goals in 3 games. So I think they do have the strike force.
Ian Fife, Middleby, Zadkovic, Osbay and Passfield on the bench. Because they're so settled, of course, the Central Coast, Richard Money, does that give them an edge?
Well, they've been very settled for the last 12 games. A lot of talk this year about strikers being missing, but the back 8 have been pretty much constant all the way through. I'm sure Pierre's given a lot of thought of how he's going to deal with Gumprecht. You know, he runs forward at every opportunity. I don't expect Dwight York to play right up the top. I think he'll play in behind Petrovski. I think Carney will play narrower. I think Corica will play narrower. And the one thing about Central Coast, they like to keep their wide players wide. So I think Pierre might think he may be able to get a grip of the midfield and play through there.
Fair enough. OK, well, let's continue with our countdown of Player of the Year points. Let's go now to some of the best action from rounds 18 and 19.
In rounds 18 and 19, Adelaide United defender Angelo Costanzo received 2 points for his dogged display against Perth Glory. A week later, he was at it again, earning a point in the Reds' 1-1 stalemate with the Central Coast at Hindmarsh Stadium. The Mariners' Tom Pondylyak was awarded 2 points for his opening goal of the season against Sydney FC in round 18. Jets midfielder Nick Carl crafted out a point in Newcastle's 3-0 win over the Knights. Queensland's Massimo Madoka snared 2 points in the Roar's 2-1 win over Sydney, while man of the match Alex Bross, who scored both goals at Suncorp Stadium, collected all 3 points.
Well, by the end of round 19, this is how it looks. Still Nick Carl there, 2 points in front of Gumprecht. Alex Bross, the big mover, up to 15 points. Corica, York and Viet still both all anchored on 14 points. Costanzo 13 and Huksu Siao rounds it out on 12 points. Just 2 rounds left to find out who is the Fox Sports Footballer of the Year. OK, we'll take another break. You can hear the noise. It is unbelievable at the moment. We'll take a break and come back on the other side. And, of course, look at the Cove to take us out. They've been one of the great success stories, as Fox Sports' Gary Burchett found out.
It started right back at the Club World Championship games up at Gosford. Every week more people turned up. By the time we got to the last game against Adelaide, 4,500 people standing singing in unison.
Unofficially, they are the voice of Sydney FC. Meets the Cove, a brigade of blue dedicated to enhancing the image of Australian football.
As unlike any other sport, vocal support plays a huge role in geeing up the players and in preparing them to do battle on the field.
It's just the real way to support football. It's the way I was raised to support football, and it's finally good to be able to do it in Australia.
Not just a colourful spectacle on match day, they proved to be a vital ingredient in Sydney FC's success.
Yeah, when that last goal went in, I could just tell the 5 minutes beforehand when the crowd lifted really made a difference, and that's a good feeling.
And a symbol of strength in darker times.
Sydney FC players tonight wearing black armbands as a mark of respect for Terry McFlynn, whose aunt and uncle tragically died in a car accident back in Northern Ireland.
Terry, in your time of need, the Cove is here for you. And it's just to let him know that he's a cult hero, and we do care for everyone that pulls on the Sydney shirt.
But essentially, it's about sharing the good times.
And when you've got 2,000 to 3,000 people behind the goals, all just going off their nut and having an awesome night out, you know, that's probably the best thing about it.
Like being married to 4,500 men.
With nearly 10 times that amount descending on Aussie Stadium today, the Cove are a chorus line befitting football's biggest stage.
Well, there they are, the Sydney Cove, and boy, wouldn't you like that behind you, Graham Arnold?
Every week they get here in droves, and they've been fantastic for Sydney, but let's not take it away from the Mariners supporters as well. They've been first class as well. Here at Sydney today, it's just an unbelievable atmosphere. I can't believe it. Sounds like November 16.
Grand finals, Richard Money, you talk about the team that might settle earlier. You look at experience against the youth maybe in various parts of the ground. How do you see that unfolding?
I think Central Coast will start very fast. They always do. Sydney will try and play, I think, a more of a controlled build-up. Get a lot of people in the middle of the pitch and try and keep the ball. It's pretty warm here, but I think Central Coast will start very quickly.
OK, well, the man in charge, of course, on the pitch for Sydney FC, the skipper, let's hear more from him, Dwight York.
Well, Dwight, you've travelled basically around the world this week. How are you feeling?
Good. I had a couple of days rest, and I think amply enough the time to sort of get back in the mood of Sydney. That shouldn't be any excuse, but I'm healthy and raring to go.
Bit of the change to the structure of the starting side today. You've been listed as starting up front.
Yeah, I suppose so. I've been playing in several positions all year, but adjusting to a particular position wherever the gaffer sees me fit. It's nothing new to me. I can adapt easily, and I will adapt today, but it's not a problem, and it shouldn't affect my game today.
Scored a couple of goals for Trinidad and Tobago during the week. It'd be nice to bang a couple in the last game for Sydney. You scored, of course, in the first.
Yeah, that's right. It'd be nice to go out in such a high. The confidence is pretty high at this point in time. Of course, getting 2 goals in the international game is always a big achievement. But, you know, back to square one, which is to make sure that Sydney get the result at the end of the day, which is to make sure that we lift the grand final trophy at the end of the game.
Obviously, you've played in far bigger games than this. Have you had much to say to the younger members of the side just to calm the nerves?
Yeah, I've come back and I managed to have 1.5 days with the lads, and I've seen the mood in the camp. The camp is very upbeat. Everyone seems to be upbeat about the whole game. And actually, there's not much to say. I think we got 1 and 2 experienced players themselves here. 1 and 2 players haven't been in this situation before. But I'm sure, you know, come the game time, you know, we all put our heads around and make sure everybody is on the game. And I'm sure if everybody played to the potential, there shouldn't be a problem of winning this game today.
Thanks, Dwight.
Pleasure. Thank you.
Don't worry about the legs being all right for Dwight Yorke, Graham Arnold. He's back, of course, from that international in London. But I look at the change in formation, of course. Steve Corica played a lot on the left, but he hasn't enjoyed his time pushing up front. How do you think he'll come out today?
Yeah, it's a bit of a strange change for me because Steve Corica's played very well in the last few weeks off Sasha Petrosky in that role. Dwight Yorke has done really well picking the ball up deep and starting the play for Sydney. But look, Pierre Libarski knows his players better than I do, and no doubt Pierre's made the change for a good reason. Dwight Yorke was probably going to be a little bit more in the opposition's penalty box today than what he has been in the past few weeks. But look, at the end of it, no doubt the change is one that Pierre felt was the best for Sydney.
7 goals for the season for Dwight Yorke, Richard Money. I guess, does that take a little bit of pressure off Petrovski up front? And I guess ask another question of this Central Coast defence?
I like the change, actually. I'm not surprised he's done it. You know, when we played them in the semi-final, Gumprecht has to come into everyone's minds. I think that's a major factor in Pierre's decision here. And I think Yorkie a little bit further up the pitch, as you say, might just give Clark and Beecham a different problem than what they may be expected.
No, Zadkovic, he's back on the bench, Graham. Would Central Coast, I guess, get a natural advantage in width here in this match now?
Well, you'd say so, wouldn't you? Damien Brown on the left and O'Sullivan on the right really hug the sidelines. They do come inside O'Sullivan at times, but look, Tommy Pondlyak as well is a player that is very dangerous for the Sydney FC defenders. He's very mobile, very quick. I think he'll play a little bit more on the left-hand side today, on Andrew Packer's side. Sydney's had to rearrange their defence, so, you know, it's a big loss milligan for Sydney.
Yeah, Richard, the various confrontations there?
I think the two key battles for me today, aside from the midfield, of course, Heffernan against Carney.
Yep.
Very interesting one. Dean's been tremendous getting forward all year, but Carney's going to give him a different problem going the other way. And on the other side of the pitch, O'Sullivan, unsung hero for me, up and down the pitch. And Sheckley likes to get forward the other way too. So, you know, they're going to be two key battles.
Looks like a V-dub, but plays with a Ferrari motor, doesn't he, O'Sullivan?
Yeah.
OK, it is the Player of the Year time. Let's keep the countdown going. Let's get the best of the action now from the final 2 rounds, 20 and 21.
In the final 2 rounds of the season, Sydney FC's Steve Corica picked up a point in their vital 2-1 win over the Glory in Perth. A week later, captain Dwight Yorke landed all 3 points with his sublime touch against arch rivals Adelaide at Aussie Stadium. Nick Ward scooped the pool in the Glory's 3-1 win in the final round in Newcastle. Hook Zusiao received 2 points in the Raw's 2-2 draw with the Mariners. But it was teammate Alex Brosk who made the biggest impact in the last 2 rounds. The striker earned a point in Queensland's 5-0 drubbing of the Jets and then grabbed all 3 points against the Central Coast at Suncorp.
So when it was all said and done after 21 rounds, that's the way it finished. Counting up, Ward 13, Viet 14, Siao 14, Corica 15, Gumprecht 15, Carl 17. Yorke got up there on 17 as well, but jumping over the top of them all from the Queensland Raw with 19 points is Alex Brosk, our Footballer of the Year. Let's find out more now. He is down on the pitch with Robbie Slater. I'm sure he's a very happy man, Robbie.
Thanks very much, Neil. Well, he certainly is. And Alex Brosk, well, congratulations. There's 2,500 from Harvey Norman as our Player of the Year. How does that feel?
Good, mate. It's always good to get that honour, mate. So, yeah, I just want to thank Harvey Norman and the people at Fox Sports for this award.
Now, listen, Alex, of course, you're moving here to Sydney FC, but before that, what was the highlight for you this season?
Obviously, it was disappointing missing out on the top 4. So I just being with a good bunch of boys and you know, raising the profile of soccer in Queensland. That was my highlight.
What about here today? You've been out there, you've tasted the atmosphere. It's just going to be a full house. You're coming here next season. It must feel really proud moment for you to be coming here.
Yeah, for sure, mate. Looking around, I mean, it's just a huge buzz, you know, being a part of this. And yeah, look, I mean, if we can get this every week next season, it'll be great.
Well, I'll tell you what, there you go, Alex Brosk. You're very, very happy. He's got himself that 2,500 from Harvey Norman. So, mate, good luck next season. Have a great off-season.
Thanks a lot, mate. Thanks, Robbie.
Back to you, Neil.
There he is, Robbie Slater, with the Fox Sports Player of the Year, Graham Arnold, and of course 2.5 there, not bad for a 22-year-old in the kick, and of course, ironically, he's coming to Sydney, so this will fuel him up even more.
Yeah, he'd love the atmosphere here today. He'd love to be out in the field as well, but Alex finishes the season very, very well. He's a great indication and a great example for players overseas who didn't settle.
Yep.
He's come back to Australia where the A-League has kicked off at a different level than when he left. And he's done very well.
Look out for Alex Brosk, second season in a Sydney shirt. We'll take a break on our grand final coverage. We'll keep going with the top 10 goals. And to take us out, it's number 6, 5 and 4.
At 6, Archie Thompson has the ball on a string for the victory.
Here's Thompson, surrounded. Archie Thompson. Still going is Thompson. And it's gone in. Archie Thompson. Somehow he has squirmed his way through a forest of Sydney FC defenders and produced a finish of exquisite quality. That is a goal out of the box from Archie Thompson, a player at the top of his game. No chance for Bolton. Thompson makes it 3.
An inch-perfect finish from Sheng King Chu is our number 5.
Away goes Travis Dodd off the ball from Timpano. Still Travis Dodd in for 2. And there's the comeback from Adelaide.
Here's the run. They're backpedaling. Chu just pulls off Mark Root and he has to go towards Travis Dodd. And Chu with the outside of the left foot. That's a brilliant finish, and what a response from Adelaide United.
At number 4, the distance is no problem for Lavino Haliti.
Now Paul Kohler. Haliti, who tries the shot. Lavino Haliti! What about that?
Fantastic goal. A bit of inspiration. Tries his luck from a long, long way out. And it's a great strike from the youngster.
I think Frank Lowy and John O'Neill have done wonders for soccer. I am only sorry that I can't be at the match this afternoon because of my trip. But I wish both teams well. I'm not expressing a favourite. It's a bit of a David and Goliath contest, but the good thing is that soccer has come together in a magnificent way.
My tip for the winner of the A-League Grand Final is the Central Coast Mariners, because I'm from Melbourne and I'm not allowed to go for any Sydney clubs. So come on the Mariners, and let's hope it's a great Grand Final.
It's going to be a big crowd, I think, and hopefully everyone enjoys the final. I know that the people from Adelaide won't be, neither will my brother, but that's the way it goes, and good luck to both teams.
It has to be Sydney. I think they've got some great talent in there, but obviously, you know, it's going to be tough. Mariners deserve to be there also, so, you know, I'm going to have to go Sydney on this one.
So there are some of the opinions of our Socceroos, and also before then the Prime Minister John Howard. Of course, everyone's got a tip in this one, Richard Money. But when you look at this, I mean, it must be a bit envious of you. In charge of Newcastle, they were the big brother, but lo and behold, it's the Coast on Grand Final day.
Oh, the Coast over the season obviously deserved to be here. Our match was very tight, could have gone either way.
Yep.
But I've already given you my preference. I think they're going to do it. I really do. I think their running power and their energy will be too much for Sydney at the end of the day.
It's taken them a long way this season, and one man who will be happy to hear you say that is the head coach of the Mariners, Laurie McKenna, who joins us now on Grand Final day. Laurie, look, you've been settled all season. Nothing different on Grand Final day?
No, we've had a couple of good days. Nothing changes. Just go out, same work ethic, same team ethic, and we'll see what happens at the end of the game. As long as the boys give 100%, that's all we can ask.
Laurie, big occasion here for a lot of players who haven't been in this atmosphere before. How relaxed are the players at the moment in the change rooms?
Yeah, no, the boys have been brilliant in the dressing room. You know, we get the usual clowns in there, and we've got John Hutchison. He's in there, kind of stirring them all up and bringing them back to us. So Hutch was a big part of the team during the season. His goals got us there. So Hutch is in charge of the dressing room at the moment.
And just finally, Laurie, how do you see the game unfolding? Do you see a high-tempo game, or do you think it'll be a little bit cagey early?
I think it'll be cagey, but we need to keep the tempo up. They have a few boys who have not played that much football in the last few weeks, so our game is to keep the tempo up, and the longer the game goes, we think we'll be okay.
All right, Laurie, it should be a terrific Grand Final. All the best for the Mariners, and see if you can complete this long-awaited fairy tale.
Now we'll do our best, and just to all those people at Central Coast Stadium, get behind us up there as well.
There he is, Laurie McKenna, joining us on Grand Final day. And yes, there will be a great crowd at Central Coast Stadium. And look, Graham Arnold, they tell me that it won't be a holiday, it'll be a holler week up there on the coast if they win this one.
And John Singleton's going to probably put some money on the bar as well, I'd say. He's had a bet with Walter Bunyo, the chairman of Sydney FC. But look, it's great for the Central Coast and for the little town up there. They've got a wonderful stadium. Laurie McKenna, for me, he's been coach of the year. He's done a first-class job with a side that everyone thought would get the wooden spoon. As Richard said, this is their third final today. You know, they thoroughly deserve to be there, and you know, he's got the best out of his players.
Richard, of course, you mentioned the key players. Looking at one, Tommy Pondylak. Do you see him floating around the park early and just trying to mix it up against the Sydney defence?
I think he'll keep his shape maybe a little bit more than he likes to sometimes. I think with Yorkie being the extra man in there, I think he's going to have to maybe play with a little bit more discipline. Obviously get up alongside Petrie as much as he can. But everybody keeps telling me all year that Central Coast don't have this and they don't have that. I'm a stranger, I'm a new guy here. All I see is a team of good players who want to work hard, a great work ethic. They run all day for each other and they play good football. What more do you want?
What more do you want indeed? I guess the other thing, Graham Arnold, of course, they've just overcome obstacles all season with injuries. So, look, surely one of the reasons they stand 10 foot tall.
Well, absolutely. You know, you look at their midfield. We've talked about the power of running of their midfield, but they're all goal scorers. You know, Noel Spencer's pitched in. Dean Heffernan at left back's got 8 goals. Stewie Petrie was out for injury for quite a while. He's scoring his goals. Hutchinson. So they've got a number of players in their side that can score goals, where Sydney really rely on the one player, plus Dwight York. Sasha Petrovski's their main outlet. He's the one who needs to get in the box often and try to get on the end of things.
Sure, and I'm sure one of the great sights of this A-League season is Gumprecht putting the foot down from midfield. When that transition happens, he just goes, look, he's probably only been, 4 years in Australia, but it's taken the A-League to bring his class to the surface.
Well, you know, you looked at the Player of the Year awards and Gumprecht was right up there, and I rate him very, very highly. He's running off the ball. Lets Noel Spencer play his natural game. Spencer sits in front of the back four. Gumprecht's support play to the front men is outstanding. Look for him to do that again today.
And there he is, Andre Gumprecht, and I guess that combination, Richard, that he has with the more holding Noel Spencer, boy, has that taken them a long way.
Yes, it has, and obviously Pondylak drops into the hole when Gumprecht runs forward. So it's a nice combination. Laurie's got all the right players in the right holes, and well done.
And all responding to the coach all season. Let's have a look now at the Mariners line-up, the way they'll come out on grand final day. Vukovic at the back, what a story he's been. Wilkinson, Beecham, Clark and Heffernan across the back. O'Sullivan, Spencer, Gumprecht and Damien Brown, of course, starting on the left-hand side of midfield, and Tommy Pondylak up there alongside Stewie Petrie. So, Graham, look, I say settled, but it's also a nice match, or mix and match of experience alongside some youthful legs.
Yeah, look, Laurie's had a settled side for most of the year in the back half of the field. Michael Beecham, Andrew Clark has been outstanding in the middle. Danny Vukovic in goals. The youngsters come in goals, and you probably thought that John Crawley would get his position back. He's been outstanding. Alex Wilkinson on the right-hand side, Dean Heffernan on the left, give them a lot of cover. So it's a very settled defensive side as well.
We are probably expecting a tight match, so the benches will be all important. We've seen Sydney's. Let's have a look now at the Mariners. Paul O'Grady is there. Matthew Osman, who's had a battle with pneumonia, but he's on the bench. Adam Kwasnick, Jamie McMaster and the reserve keeper Matthew Trott. Richard Money, you look at those players. Adam Kwasnick, I talk about injuries. He overcome a bad injury at Hindmarsh in the nick of time, and he could still be a vital player off the bench.
He could be, and I'm surprised to see him here after what happened that day. Graham just made a good point, especially in the final series. Beecham, Clark and the young goalkeeper have been absolutely outstanding, you know, and that's enabled Heffernan to get forward pretty much at will. And you know, they're going to have to play really well here today, because Petrovski and York might be just a slightly different proposition, you know.
And Danny Vukovic, we're seeing him there in action, just warming up. Look, Graham, if it does go to extra time and all the way to penalties, he has that sort of fearlessness about him that he might just come up trumps.
Well, he's saved one already off Dwight York this season, but look, I hope it doesn't get that far to a penalty shootout. You know, to win is great, but to lose is shocking. And, you know, I'd like to see it settled over in normal time, and I think it will be today.
Well, as far as the Central Coast goes, all their fans would love to see it sorted out in normal time as well. The Marinators, well, they've been a story in themselves. Probably not quite as many as the Cove from Sydney, but they make a noise as well, the boys from the Central Coast.
Well, we're one of the smallest club, and for the club to survive, it had to be community-minded. It had to have good relationships with the fan.
It's a relationship like no other. The bond between the Central Coast Mariners and their die-hard fans in yellow is one of the genuine success stories of the Hyundai A-League.
it's pretty unique. You know, we get to see the players consistently. We get to work with them. You know, they hold events like this for everyone and anyone in the community.
The boys in Adelaide, when they were down there last weekend for the game, they were kicking in a park across the road from the boys' hotel. Half the team come over and had a kick with them before the game. I mean, what other team's players would do that? None.
The smallest club in the competition has worked harder than any of their competitors to be at one with the local community.
Because they're such a local team and you get to see them on the street, people love that sort of thing. So they're heroes, you know, to us that live here on the coast. We love it.
They put the Central Coast in the map. So everybody is talking about the Central Coast, where it is, and they want to come down. It's beautiful.
But it wasn't always pretty. In the first half of the season, persistent rain on match days and poor crowd turnouts were damaging to the Seaside club. When more than 17,000 fans crammed into Central Coast Stadium for their final home game of the season, the club's hard work in the community had paid off. The birth of a new breed of football supporter had arrived.
Yeah, he's only 3 weeks old today. You know, probably youngest Marinator, I guess.
Today, one thing is certain. Players and fans will be a united front in the quest to be crowned champions.
We do spur them on. They'll admit it to you as well. They come over and they celebrate with us after every game, home and away. It helps them get through the game when they hear us chanting and singing every game.
What a story it's been, the Central Coast and those fans all dressed up in yellow, and there is plenty here, of course, on grand final day. Graham Arnold, look, so much has been said about who might get the first goal in this one. How big a role will that play? Do the Mariners have it in them? If Sydney get the first one, do they have it in them to come from behind?
I think they definitely have because of their fitness. You know, their power running, I think for sure they can do that. Look, one thing about the Central Coast as well I'd like to mention is that they seem to have a wonderful team spirit. You see the vision there. They all enjoy each other's company. They have a rapport with their supporters, and it's a real great atmosphere in that club at the moment.
You're right, and Richard, they just turned up at Aussie Stadium today just like it was another match.
Yes, they've come back from being goals behind all season, Mariners, you know, because of the running power. I don't think that will worry them at all today. And they've got tremendous support. We're at the end where the Mariners are, getting plenty of stick, of course. But no, I mean, it's going to be a great day, great occasion for them. Everyone's going to enjoy it.
Yes.
And there is a real air of, you know, they're just going to enjoy the day about the whole scene.
They're right here with us, the Marinators, and I can tell you they're making plenty of noise. Let's find out more now how the Central Coast is preparing for this big grand final with the skipper, Noel Spencer.
Well, Noel, at the end of a very exhausting week, how's the team pulled up ahead of the game?
Yeah, the boys have handled it quite well. We've had a fairly busy week, obviously with the media attention and travelling down from the coast, but the boys have handled it very well, and just very excited to be here and looking forward to a big challenge with Sydney.
Tell me, what's it been like up on the coast this week?
Yeah, the town's been fantastic. It's just, you know, it's got themselves, it's just turned themselves upside down, North Mariners colours, and they've been tremendous. You know, the people on the coast have really got behind us in a massive way, and you know, we just want to make sure we can bring home a championship and repay them in that sort of faith.
And plenty of people have travelled down to support you.
Yeah, that's right. You know, there wasn't, you know, obviously an awful lot of tickets for the fans, but you know, I think there's, you know, 8 or 10,000 fans come down, so you know, they'll be making plenty of noise out there today, and they'll be getting right behind us.
What will be your last message to your team before you run out this afternoon?
I think just to enjoy the day, enjoy the moment. Grand finals don't come around often, so make the most of it and just have no regrets.
Thanks, Noel.
Thank you. Cheers.
Well, there he is, Noel Spencer. Win, lose or draw, Graham Arnold, they will enjoy the moment. One player I want your opinion on, of course. He made a great debut over there in Bahrain, Michael Beecham. Yeah. Of course, just a big striding defender whose confidence seems to just get that little bit higher every match.
Yeah, he seems to be fitting into his own body now. He seems like he's got a lot more confidence in himself. He's quick across the ground. He's good on the ball. It's going to be a great tussle between him and Sasha Petrosky today. One question I'd like to have for Richard is, if Sydney drop Dwight York back in the midfield, who do you see will pick him up?
Well, it's either going to be Spencer, or they'll be brave and push Clark in. Throughout the grand final series, they've been very happy to go man for man, the two of them at the back. I think that might be my one doubt about them today. I think if they do that, they might open up holes for Carney and Corica coming from those deeper positions. So it's going to be very interesting to see how that pan out. I'm not so sure. I think they maybe sit Spencer a little bit deeper.
Spencer a little deeper. We shall find out soon. Of course, we are getting closer to the kick-off of this historic A-League Grand Final. Let's go down right in the mix of it in the tunnel. Robbie Slater is there. And Robbie, what's the latest? How's the mood? How is the tension?
absolutely incredible. It's really reaching fever pitch, and I've just been down there on the pitch and watching both sets of players warm up. They look very sharp, look very concentrated. The disappointed ones are the boys sitting on the bench. I ran into John Hutchinson, who of course had a cruciate ligament operation. He's been out for the season. He's got a long recovery. Those sorts of players are just sitting there looking around, taking in the atmosphere. A lot of Mariners fans. You know, we were talking about maybe only 8,000-10,000 tickets, but there is a real sea of yellow. But the Cove looks as good as it always does.
All right, Robbie, we're looking at the Marinators there now. Thanks very much for that update right down there in the tunnel. And I think the Marinators are enjoying this. So, Graham Arnold, they don't care if they're outnumbered. They will shout the place down.
Absolutely, and not every day they come down to Sydney as well. I think they'd like to start there on the Central Coast. But look, they're making heaps of noise. I'm sure up there in Central Coast they're making a lot of noise as well.
You're just lucky we're not doing this at the Cove end, but for another day. Okay, let's continue our countdown of our best strikes of the season. We're right at the top now. Here are Fox Sports 3, 2 and 1 for the season.
Some more Oriental magic comes in at number 3.
Adelaide now with their first chance on the counter. It's Chu. He has 3 white shirts in the middle. Chu with a shot, and Shenking Chu. What a start for Adelaide United. Is that the goal which will set them on the way to the minor premiership? Jason Petkovic beaten by the qualities of Shenking Chu.
And he's back again at number 2.
Across to Shenking Chu. He tries to tip the keeper and does it beautifully. Well, he's hardly been in the game, Chu, and all of a sudden, he says to Tom Willis, pick the bones out of that.
And that's a beautiful finish. Great awareness, great technique. Wonderful goal. One of the best goals of the season.
And our number 1 comes from way back in round 1.
Unbelievable! Noel Spencer! And the captain leads by example.
Not often Noel Spencer gets goals, but when he does, they're to be remembered. Great first touch by Noel Spencer, out of his feet and right up where the Spiders live.
No chance there for Petkovic. Into the top corner from some 25 metres from Noel Spencer.
So how ironic. Way back in round 1 at Members Equity Stadium, Noel Spencer went bang for our goal of the season. And what a beauty it was, Graham Arnold. You look at these two sides head-to-head. I guess the forgotten statistic, Central Coast the only side to beat Sydney on this ground. Of course, in the rain, 3-2. What a game that was.
And a Noel Spencer free kick to finish the game off
Different
as well.
type of goal, yeah.
Different type of goal, but Noel Spencer, he scored some vital goals for Central Coast this year. And we can't forget that first one in round 1.
Yep. There it is, Central Coast 3-2 at Aussie Stadium. Beecham sent off in the return match. 5-1. Sydney put the cleaners through than them. 1-1. Round 18 here, Richard Money. So you take out the middle result, I suppose not a lot between them.
Nothing between them. The middle result was influenced by Beecham getting sent off, of course. It's tight. It's tight. There's no doubt about it.
Final thoughts then on why and how the Mariners will get over the top of Sydney, in your eyes?
I actually think it might take extra time. I think Central Coast will just edge it. I think they've got a little bit more running power in the team. My only worry, I like the change. I really do. I think York up alongside Petrosky gives them another dimension. And it's just a question of whether Sydney will dominate the midfield enough to be able to get the runners in.
It's pretty warm, so a war of attrition a little bit the Mariners' way.
It might be. That might actually help Sydney the longer the game goes on, I think.
All right, and Graham Arnold, of course, I say not much between them, but I guess they play football in varying ways. You like Sydney, just? You're not sure?
I'm going to sit on the fence.
Oh, no. You can't sit on the fence. It's grand final.
I do like Sydney just. I think that they've just got players who've played in big occasions before. We've mentioned Dwight York, but Petrosky, Corica's played overseas. He's got a lot of experience about himself as well. Mark Ruden's been in top form of late, and the goalkeeper, Clint Bolton. You know, he's had a special season as well.
So maybe just Sydney, just quickly, will they come out and play the more deliberate, slower game, or do you think they might have a crack at the Mariners as well?
Or? I think they'll have a crack at the Mariners straight away, yeah. I think that York will get on the ball as much as possible. He'll drop into midfield to make the triangle. Carney and Corica will push right on. I think they'll try and pressure Central Coast defence as much as possible because I think Pierre Labarski probably thinks that's where they can get over the Central Coast.
All right, I'm taking Sydney FC from Graham Arnold. Justin, Central Coast is the selection from Jets head coach Richard Money. It is grand final day in the Hyundai A-League. Stay with us. History is in the making as Sydney FC go right up against the Central Coast Mariners for the honour to be first up champions.
The excitement of just walking out is enough for me, and once you get through that tunnel, it's game on, and it's like a switch. You just click and you're in your zone.
Before any big game, I get cramps in the stomach, and feeling that nervousness. This is going to be bigger than all those games before, so I'm sure it'll be there.
I'll be relaxed like I have been the last couple of weeks, but in saying that, it's very hard. A grand final's a grand final. It's obviously the butterflies be buzzing around in the stomach.
Yeah, I think it'll be carnage the first 5 minutes. I think everyone will just be flying into tackles, and it's important to get a few touches early on to get the nerves out, and once you've had a few touches, yeah, you seem to settle down. It's just like any other game.
This is it. This is the ultimate. As a footballer, you don't want to play in a grand finals, and you can't get much bigger than this.
I'll be walking out there thinking no regrets. Once in a lifetime opportunity, so be looking forward to it.
Unfortunately, I cannot see the game. Sunday, the final, and the Sydney FC in Central Coast. Unfortunately, I have to travel here and stay here, but I wish good luck to both of you, okay? And play hard. Play hard. Congratulations.
Well, after 27 weeks, 89 games and 243 goals, we've finally reached the summit. And it's Sydney FC and the Central Coast Mariners who have left the other 6 teams in their wake. Hello and welcome to Grand Final Day here at Aussie Stadium, the day of destiny for the inaugural Hyundai A-League season. It's a story of contrasts, big, small, rich and poor, but on the pitch where it counts, there's very little between the two sides. Joining me for the big occasion is Robbie Slater.
Well, talk about big occasions. It doesn't come bigger than this one. Actually, amazing scenes here, a wonderful atmosphere for both sides. There's plenty of colour, and I mean yellow as well. Plenty of the Mariners supporters managed to get tickets. And it's just a wonderful scene. Frank Lowy down there, and John O'Neill on the sideline. Two very proud men, and so they should be.
The showpiece game of the season sold out 10 days in advance. A very healthy contingent of visiting fans. The Mariners represented by the yellow and blue. A huge occasion this for both of these two clubs. A lot said about the difference between the two clubs off the field, but as I said, Robbie, not a lot of difference between the two teams on the park.
No, both sides deserve to be here. Central Coast Mariners have done it the hard way. Only had one home minor semi-final. They went down to Adelaide last week in a fantastic performance against Adelaide United, which brings them here to the grand final. And of course, Adelaide bowing out in straight sets, as we say. They lost to Sydney in the major semi. Sydney have the right, and they're here at home today, and they are the favourites. But this Central Coast side is on an unbelievable run of form, and they come here with plenty of that on the board.
Well, that is a sight for sore eyes. A full house here at Aussie Stadium. We don't know the official attendance, but we can assume it is the biggest crowd ever to have attended a club football game in New South Wales. Pushing 40,000 here at the home of a Sydney FC. They've come in their numbers throughout the season. They have drawn the biggest crowds of any club in this competition, Sydney FC. And it is largely a sky blue sea here, but as we mentioned, plenty of yellow shirts as well, as the two teams contest the inaugural Hyundai A-League Championship. Will it be lucky 13 for the Central Coast? Of course, they arrive here on the back of a 12-game unbeaten run. They are the form team in the competition, and they are ready to write a new chapter on a magnificent afternoon. A pitch in good condition, the weather ideal, and there is the tunnel with the two teams making their way out onto the pitch. You can sense the emotion, you can see the hunger. The friendships between these two sets of players, Robbie, will be forgotten I'm sure, over the next 90 minutes or so.
A big match experience on both sides. No more than Dwight York played in European Champions League final, winning that in 1999 against Bayern Munich. He's played in FA Cup finals, but also on both sides there is old grand final experience. Noel Spencer's played in one, Gumprecht, Pondliak. A lot of players with big match experience, and they'll need it here today.
Well, there is the roar the players have been waiting for. The moment of truth has arrived. The fans are off their seat. The streamers are coming down. The flags are out. It's what you live for as a professional player. And here at the sharp end of the inaugural Hyundai A-League season, this is an occasion as big as it gets. The Australian flag. Noel Spencer, the captain of the Central Coast Mariners, one of a number of players with previous grand final experience. The two teams now lining up. We'll hear the national anthem in a moment, sung by Jade McRae. The Mariners, of course, in their yellow kit. Sydney in their sky blue.
Gifts of beauty, rich and rare. In history's page, let every stage advance Australia fair. In joyful strains, then let us sing. Advance Australia fair.
Well, the stage is set. Plenty of nerves out on the park, and I dare say plenty of nerves around the stadium as well. The Central Coast Mariners going into the match as underdogs. That's what the bookies say, that's what the experts say. But the players of Sydney FC know they are in for a fierce contest. The Mariners, the only team we shouldn't forget to have won at this ground this season, the only away team.
And go back a long time for that. The Noel Spencer free kick, which took a wicked deflection, I think off Alvin Checkley. I think it went down as an own goal over the head of Clint Bolton, and that was a 3-2 win on a very rainy night here at Aussie Stadium. The only team to have done that. And they did lose to Sydney at home, although different circumstances. Michael Beechik was sent off in the opening 10 minutes. Sydney went on to win that one 5-1. The other game, sorry, Michael, was a draw, a 1-1 draw here at Aussie, so they have great form here at Aussie Stadium, and they'll have no fear.
A smile there from Dwight York. A lot of concern about whether he has recovered from jet lag. He just arrived in the country on Friday morning, 48 hours to get the jet lag out of his legs, as the Mariners fans salute, or the Mariners players, I should say, salute their fans behind that southern goal. Well, let's have a look at the team news. Firstly, the home team. 3 changes, 1 forced, 2 by choice, have been made by coach Pierre Littbarski. At right bat, as expected, Andrew Packer returns in place of the suspended Mark Milligan, while in central defence, the fit again Jacob Timpano has been preferred to Ian Fife. But perhaps the biggest surprise is in midfield, where a case has been made for experience over youth. Terry McFlynn gets his first start in 6 games, and teenager Ruben Zadkovic drops to the bench. Well, never one to hide behind a veil of secrecy, Laurie McKenna has presented his team to the public at the start of the week, and he's stayed true to his word. The team which did the job in Adelaide last weekend gets its reward. It's an unchanged lineup with Michael Beecham and Andrew Clark in the heart of defence, Andre Gumprecht and Noel Spencer in the centre of midfield, and Tom Pondliak and Stewie Petrie again providing the pace and persistence in attack. On the bench this afternoon for Sydney FC, Ian Fife, Robbie Middleby, Ruben Zadkovic, Tolgay Osbay, and the second keeper is Justin Pasfield. Pierre Luparski, the Sydney FC coach. A lot has been said about his future. Is this his last game on the bench for Sydney FC? The bench for the Mariners: Paul O'Grady, a defender, Matthew Osman, Adam Kwasnik, Jamie McMaster and Matthew Trott. We're all set for the kick-off here in the inaugural Hyundai A-League Grand Final. The referee is from Queensland. It's Mark Shield, and it'll be the Mariners to get the game underway. We're off in the Grand Final. The Mariners hoping to extend that 12-game unbeaten run. Sydney FC proud of their home record. And they have the ideal leader for the big occasion in Dwight Yorke.
And he is certainly a key in this match, and what they do with him is a little bit changed role. He's got a free role behind Petrovsky, Corica on the left, Carney on the right, so he has changed it for the big game.
Swung in by Heffernan, dangerous ball. Timpano had to deal with it. Now O'Sullivan chips it back in towards the danger zone. And the sun in the eyes there of Alvin Checkerley. Sydney taking a while to clear their lines. Early pressure from the Mariners. McFlynn. Now Timpano. And Sasho Petrovsky with his first touch. It's his 31st birthday today. Petrovsky battles away with O'Sullivan. The Mariners have it back. Plenty of feeling in the tackles. Still with the Mariners. O'Sullivan gets a lucky rebound. And Bolton had to come a long way out of the area. A very positive start from the Central Coast.
It wasn't Wayne O'Sullivan all of a sudden finding himself in space. It was Andrew Packer that hung back and played him onside. But Clint Bolton, sweeping at the back of his defence, was off his line quickly.
No signs of being overawed by the occasion in these early stages from the Mariners. Bolton. Miscued clearance. Breaks for Gumprecht. Tries to release Heffernan, who's too quick for Packer. But Packer recovers well. Did the ball cross the line? And the assistant referee says no. Yorke now for Sydney. You can cut the atmosphere with a knife.
And you see Yorke picking up the ball. See him in that free roll. He popped up on the right-hand side. Going back to his trip overseas. It's going to be interesting to see. Jet lag is something that does affect you. Of course, there's a lot of adrenaline into a grand final. But that voyage might affect him later in the game.
Well, we do make the point that 3 times this season Dwight Yorke has travelled away for international duty, and on his return Sydney haven't won a game. Carney with the early free kick, looking for Corica. Well, they're up for this, the Mariners, you can tell already. Bigley's conceded possession. And Rudin tangles with Tommy Pontiac. 2 former teammates in the old NSL. But no favours asked or expected on grand final day. Tommy Pontiac scored the goal, which got the Mariners into the grand final. Spencer. Here's Carney. Still going, David Carney. Heffernan and Carney contest, and another free kick to the Mariners. The early decisions going in favour of the visiting team.
Well, that's one of the real key battles in the match as well. David Carney against Heffernan. You see Carney look to have got the better than Heffernan, manages to get a foot in. Carney comes back, pulls his shirt, gives away the foul. Who's going to be able to push which one back? Can Carney stop those overlapping runs from Heffernan? That will be a real key to this battle as well.
It's a wasted free kick from Dean Heffernan. Played the ball straight to McFlynn.
Corica rides one challenge and another. Still going forward is Corica. Mariners have scrambled well. Well, I'm not sure if Laurie McKenna, or should I say, I'm not sure if the players listened to Laurie McKenna. He said before the match he thought it might be a bit cagey in the opening few minutes. Far from the case.
No, it's been a very high tempo to kick off with. A lot of niggly fouls. You'd expect that. Players hyped up for the game, diving into tackles. Mariners certainly not sitting back.
Bingley with a quick throw. Packer pumps it forward. Petrovski asked to chase it down. And Vukovic right out to the edge of the box. With his first touch of the game, the young goalkeeper, Danny Vukovic, has played a starring role for the Central Coast in their run through to the grand final. Onside is Pondeljac. Gumprecht through the middle, arriving late is Brown. Gumprecht had to snatch at the chance. And Sydney FC under all sorts of early pressure.
Well, there's the ball, goes out to Pondeljac. He finds himself in space. That's a wicked ball to the back pace. Great shape on the cross. Gumprecht snatches at it. Probably had more time there. And the chance goes begging. What a great chance for the Central Coast.
Andre Gumprecht, the German-born midfielder, who now happily calls the Central Coast his home. O'Sullivan. And Danny Vukovic with a clearance which doesn't go as far as he'd hoped. Chekali looking for York. Well, Pierre Littbarski has made a couple of big calls for this game. One, of course, we've talked about. Terry McFlynn hasn't played for 5 weeks. Heffernan and Carney continue their contest. It's a good contest as well. At the moment, Heffernan ahead on points. Timpano hustled into error. Pondeljac, 2 forward for the Mariners. Squared up and didn't get onto the shots. Stewie Petrie on his favoured left boot could hardly believe his luck. The chance, and a golden chance, goes begging.
Well, it's a mistake from Timpano. He takes a risk. You have to clear the danger. Pondeljac picks it up. He picks out Petrie. Doesn't get a hold of his shot. And another chance. That's 2 golden chances now. One to Petrie. He must hit the target from there.
Will the Mariners live to rue these missed opportunities early in the game? Inside the 8-minute mark, and they've had a couple of real chances to go ahead. Maybe the nerves are a factor. Stewie Petrie will be disappointed. Chekali. Deep ball, too deep for York. Pierre Littbarski, fairly calm on the sideline at the moment. I was going to make the point, 3 changes to a team going into the grand final, not ideal in some ways. Brown looking for Gumprecht. No chances taken by Packer.
Yeah, and Timpano's another one of those players. You talked about Terry McFlynn, hasn't played much. But Timpano's been out injured as well, so he's come back into the side. And the trouble already on the flanks. Central Coast using that.
And Petrie again making a nuisance of himself in and around the goal mouth. The Scotsman feels that should have been a corner.
Yeah, again, the ball comes in. 2 Sydney defenders just doing enough. Must have been a corner, that one, for sure.
Did look to have come off a Sydney FC player. Strong header from Petrovski. Alex Wilkinson Sydney had a two-day camp at Narrabeen to prepare for the grand final, locking themselves behind closed doors to prepare for the big game. Gumprecht gets a good run forward. Delightful ball from Gumprecht. It's Pontiac in the clear. They're just not getting the bounce of the ball at the moment, the Mariners. But there are a few early warning signs for Sydney FC. 10 minutes gone, no goals in the grand final. Here's Carney. The switch of play. Sheckley's done well to keep the ball inside the line. The cross is a good one. And Michael Beecham with an important clearing header.
Well, Pontiac's movement causing Sydney all sorts of problems. This opening 10 minutes. He's dragging defenders out into wide areas, and when they don't go with him, he's in all space.
Early ball in from Checkerley. Difficult bounce for Heffernan. And look at the room here in midfield for Petrie. At the moment, the game and the pace of the game is creating so much space. Brown now. Gumprecht full of running. On the overlap, Andre Gumprecht to the byline. The cutback, Brown. And the shot was blocked by Rudin, and now the Mariners have a corner, their first of the game. Gumprecht doing all the early running. The opening 10 minutes, surely it belonged to the Mariners.
Well, what about the running off the ball from Gumprecht? Makes the overlapping run. Maybe just takes it a bit too far. Brown with the shot, certainly on target. Here's Gumprecht around the outside. Maybe that touch took him a bit too far. Brown had continued his run. A block from Mark Wood.
And it comes from Damien Brown. Free header. Simple save from Bolton, but another chance goes begging. This time I think it was Alex Wilkinson. Sydney living dangerously. York trying to provide a spark. Up over the halfway line. The run through the middle from Carney. Sydney are being stretched and pulled apart by the pace and movement of Central Coast.
Well, they are, and the problem is that Central Coast, at most times, they're only playing with the one up front. Now, that's either Pontiac or Petrie. But one of them pulls into the midfield, and they're just outnumbering Sydney in the midfield area.
Clark. Miscued clearance from Andrew Clark. Quick throw in from Corica. He gets it back from Carney. Swings in a dangerous ball. And that was the right option from Noel Spencer to concede the corner. Maybe some work to do now for Danny Vukovic in that Mariners goal. Have Sydney FC been working on some corner routines away from the prying eyes of the public and the media. York swings it into the near post. Throwing himself at the ball was Andrew Clark. And the pass there overhit.
Well, that's a real wasted opportunity. The ball from Dwight York in wasn't a good one. Andrew Packer with a poor pass back to Dwight York, and certainly the Central Coast have started much the better.
Well, it's a bit of a misconception that this Central Coast team is inexperienced at this level. 5 players in this Mariners squad have had previous grand final experience. And in fact, Tom Pontiac is now playing in his 4th consecutive grand final. So they do know about the big occasion, the team in yellow and blue. Checkerley into the channel. Again, Petrovski, one out. Needs support. Doesn't have much of it. And in the end, Michael Beecham does his defending to perfection. Pontiac.
it's going to be a hard day at the office for Sasho Petrovski in that lone striking role.
Well, and he's got to get support. He must get support from Corica and Carney, right-hand side, and Dwight York in that free roll. When the ball goes up to him, up against Beecham and Clark, it'll be a long afternoon if he's left isolated.
McFlynn, a clever ball into space. Well read, though, by the keeper. Not a lot of evidence of the claims before the game that Dwight York might push up in support of Sasho Petrovski. As we see Vukovic clear the danger. Long throw from Packer. Header away by Spencer. Put back in by Packer. Once again, free header. Completely missed by Dwight York. What an opportunity that was.
That's a wonderful opportunity for Dwight York. He just missed it. And also on the back post, the ball dropped as well. It was missed twice. Packer just floats this one. There's the ball to York. He misses it.
Dwight York, with a goal at his mercy, somehow failed to make contact with the ball.
And the second one was, sure it was Petrovski on the back post. He missed it as well.
Here comes the corner. Pushing and shoving going on inside that penalty area. Timpano. Chance. Blocked. It was Heffernan. Carney lines up the shot from a long way out. And the ball sails wide of the post. Better stuff from Sydney.
Yeah, good pressure from the set piece. The ball coming back in again. Timpano does well, swings it. Clash there with York. That was Mark Rudin, who, of course, has scored a couple of very important goals in the last few weeks. It was a half a chance. Central Coast, you'd have to say, defended it pretty well.
Maybe Sydney FC are now starting to find their feet after absorbing some fierce early pressure. Gumprecht. The run through from Dean Heffernan. He has got amazing stamina. The Central Coast number 8. Corica. Checkley goes on a gallop. Corica comes inside. Has York in front of him. Took his eye off the ball though. Spencer got there. Gumprecht slides in. Makes the interception and recovers well. Look at the space for Pontiac, who's peeled up to the right. Pontiac looks at the goal, comes inside. And Jacob Timpano sticks out the toe and saves the day.
There's a foul there from Petrovski. And that's one thing you won't be able to do with Clark and Beecham. He's beat them for pace. The ball wasn't really played to his feet. He's struggling to make it, but an important interception from Jacob Timpano up the other end. It allowed Pontiac to make the run off his shoulder. Thought Pontiac might have pulled the trigger. Tried to come inside and the chance was gone.
Pontiac again, this time tangling with Rudin. Bolton with the back pass. Puts it up towards the halfway line. Corris kept the ball in play. York down the line in behind. So far not going to plan for Dwight York. Dwight York turned 35 years of age on Friday on his return from London, where of course he scored 2 goals for Trinidad and Tobago in that midweek friendly against Iceland. Good skill. Gets away from Brown. Plays it in towards the corner. The ball favours Andrew Clark. Petrovski through the back of him. Flag is up. It will be a free kick to the Mariners.
Yeah, it's another ball that's played into Petrovski, not into his feet. And it favoured Clark, and Petrovski, more out of frustration than anything else, commits the foul. But that ball from Carney should have been played into Petrovski's feet. You've got to play it into his feet. He has to hold it up and bring other people into play.
Almost 20 minutes gone in the grand final. We haven't had a goal as yet, but it has been full of excitement. Corica has Checkley on the overlap.
Swung in by Checkerley. The header came from Beecham. The ball will break for Brown. Good short passing move from the Mariners. Pontiac again making a nuisance of himself. On either side, Tommy Pontiac is the danger man for Sydney. And it's amazing the amount of space he's been getting.
He is, but Andrew Packer there tracked him well, dealt with the danger, didn't take any risks and put it over the sideline for a throw-in. But Pontiac's movement and Petrie as well is causing them problems. Sydney have managed to stem the tide somewhat with their own pressure.
There was a slight doubt going into the grand final about the fitness of Tommy Pontiac. Didn't train fully early in the week. Looks as though he saved himself for the big one. Here he is on the ball again. The back heel. And the flag up. Offside against Gilprick.
Yeah, what a shame. Tommy Pontiac played it too late. He played that earlier. Gumprick was in behind. And his runs have been a feature of as well. And we talked about those two, Pontiac and Gumprick. Needed to play that one earlier, but it was marginal.
Corica dwelled on the ball too long, but gets it back. Breaks fortunately for Dwight York. The flag is up. He's through. The flag was up early. And Dwight York was in on goal.
Yeah, good movement. Little interchange of passing. And I think if you look at that, we talked about Central Coast being marginal. That was level. That was onside.
Beecham telegraphed the pass. Carney read it. Two players, of course, involved in that Socceroos squad against Bahrain. Now with Petrovski. Cuts inside. And again, the Mariners have the numbers back inside their own penalty area. That was a feature of their play last week in Adelaide, how quickly they scrambled when they lost the ball.
Yeah, their transition from defending to counter-attacking was electric in the first 35 minutes against Adelaide, and that's what won them the game.
Checkerley got the run from Petrovski.
Well, that's another sign for Sydney. Stevie Corica is getting more involved in the game, getting him with good time on the ball.
Wayne O'Sullivan now with Gilprecht. Sting was taken off the pass by Corica. York. It's a poor ball from Petrovski. The Mariners have it back. Diagonal ball. Brown clatters into Packer. Two players who are never going to pull out of a 50-50 challenge. Spencer, they've given him room. Eventually, Bingley got across to block the shot. McFlynn goes back to his goalkeeper. And not for the first time, Clint Bolton's clearance is miscued.
Yeah, his kicking game off. He's normally very, very good with his feet, Clint Bolton, but that's a couple now he's sliced. That one coming at the outside of the foot. Luckily for him, it goes harmlessly out for a throw-in.
Of course, there was a Super 14 game on this ground yesterday. From up here, the pitch looks in reasonable condition. I just wonder if it has been affected by the rugby.
Well, I was out there before the game, and there are a few divots around, but on the whole, I think it's in pretty good nick.
Gilprecht. Rebound. And the shot came in from Alex Wilkinson. The rebound, though, came off Carney, who, unluckily for him, couldn't run it down. Alex Wilkinson still looking for his first goal in the Hyundai A-League. Backing himself there from a fair distance. keeper's face. And York takes a tumble. Clark made the challenge, and the free kick goes to Sydney.
Well, Andrew Clark never shirks the tackle. The question is he coming from the behind? He seems to get the ball. In fact, he doesn't. From that angle, you see that he clearly takes York's legs away from him, and this is a good position for Sydney FC.
No real complaints from Andrew Clark about the decision. It is an inviting free kick for Dwight York. Looking into the sun, York. Plenty of targets to aim at. York goes for the top corner and clears the goal.
Maybe looking for the far post. Really didn't hit that one with any conviction. Really need to get some pace on that. Whip it in and maybe get a deflection and you get a goal, but certainly in the end he sort of seemed to get caught between two minds. Maybe the sun in his eyes slightly affected him.
Rudin, McFlynn. York looks for some width. And again, a bit fortunate there, Dwight York. Perhaps a bit leg heavy. He's been dispossessed. Fair challenge by Michael Beecham. The switch of play from Stewie Petrie is a good one. And it's picked out O'Sullivan. Gilprecht tries to square it up. And again, the Mariners recover well. But that is an important challenge from York, who stayed forward. Here he is on the ball. Petrovski with a run. Ignored by Dwight York. Well, he may be a great player, Dwight York, but he's not Superman, and you just have to ponder, from what we've seen so far, about the trouble and the fatigue.
Well, it's certainly taking a long time to warm up. 27 minutes gone now. He does look a bit heavy, but he does like to have time on the ball. And what the Central Coast are doing, they're pressuring. Every time he gets the ball, they're trying to keep his head down, not allowing him to get his head up so he can find his range of passing. But as the game goes on, the game will open up more. It's quite a warm afternoon.
I'd like to know the difference in temperature between London on Wednesday night and Sydney this afternoon. It'll be a fair bit, and that will also be affecting, I'm sure, Dwight York at the moment. Heffernan chips it forward, looking for Petrie. And Sheckley did well to come across off his line. Andy Packer playing in his fourth consecutive grand final. And Alvin Sheckley has backed himself and got away from Pondolyak. But the clearance has taken a rebound which favours the Mariners.
Well, that's the sort of action, I guess, that gives coaches heart attacks. Taking on Pondolyak in his own 18-yard box. Quite dangerous, but he certainly did it with a lot of confidence and just misplaced his clearance really at the vital time.
Gumprecht had straight into an offside position. Andre Gilprecht has again been a star in the early stages. He did it in Adelaide last week. Somewhat surprisingly taken off during the second half by coach Laurie McKenna. And when asked why, he said he wasn't playing very well. I think he was the harshest judge in the ground.
Well, he certainly made the first goal with what must have been a 60-70-metre run. Of course, they got a bit of luck.
And a bit of luck for Petrovski, and the shot was on target. And that's a good save from Vukovic.
And not only does he save it, but he holds on to it, Vukovic. Petrovski just found a half a metre, probably for the first time in the match, managed to get his snapshot away.
And Sasha Petrovski with a half volley. It was on target. That will do his confidence some good. Gumprecht squares it up. Just clearing the bar is Stewie Petrie, who's been on the end of a couple of very good opportunities. And both on the left foot that he favours as well.
Well, the mistake this time from Packer doesn't clear the danger, and it's Gumprecht, that man. Picks out Petrie, can't get over the ball, maybe just sits up a little bit too much for him. He's trying to place this into the top right-hand corner. Just gets over it, and Bolton had it covered.
He's trying to take the weight off the ball there, Stewie Petrie. He's had a great season. The veteran, good enough to earn himself another contract. Eight goals for Stewie Petrie. He was a quarter share, or had a quarter share in the Golden Boot. Wilkinson, low ball in, Pondoliak, O'Sullivan, shot blocked by Timpano, who's getting through a power of work in the early stages. Jacob Timpano, York now, and again unable to keep the ball under control. He's struggling at the moment, Dwight York. There is no doubt about that.
And living dangerously at the back as well. That time, Pondoliak receiving the ball nearly inside the 6-yard box and very, very close to playing in Wayne O'Sullivan with a clear shot at goal, but it was well blocked. Dwight York dispossessed again.
Heffernan. Early ball in, and it was 1 against 2 there. Checkley outnumbered.
Well, they're getting in far too easy, and behind that Sydney defence, and it's only a matter of time.
Gilprecht again with a cutback. No one home for the Mariners. Timpano dwelled, got the ball away in the nick of time. York turns, gets a run from Petrovski to his left. Pondoliak is straight offside, so pass had to be held up by Petrie. It's a one-on-one between Checkley and O'Sullivan, and the flag is up. In fact, that will be a corner, and Checkley is remonstrating with the assistant referee. Wayne O'Sullivan and Alvin Checkley, a fantastic battle on that far side.
Well, he's done well. He's tracked the run of O'Sullivan. He really had nowhere to go. He had no support. Ball just marginally going over the line and puts the defence under pressure.
Here comes the corner from Brown. Out comes Bolton, and a clean take from the goalkeeper. York tangles with Gumprecht, and York draws the foul. Well, there's been a feeling around the league that Dwight York's reputation and opposing teams have maybe taken it a bit easy on him in the direct one-on-ones. Through, I'll stay the action. Here's Corica. Disappointing from Stevie Corica. Very, very disappointing.
Well, he found himself in a lot of space there, Stevie Corica. Nicely played in by Petrovski. It just gets it stuck underneath his feet. He's trying to angle this one in from Matthew Bingley, who made the run. It really was a poor cross.
And you can't take your eye off this game for a second. Here's Heffernan. Rudin shepherds that one over the line. I was going to make the point about Dwight York and maybe a little bit of preferential treatment given his reputation, but in a grand final, none of that matters. Certainly not to these Central Coast players.
No, well, what they're doing well is they're pressuring him and they're forcing him into mistakes. I'm not sure about the preferential treatment. He certainly started here slowly. Of course, a player of his class at any moment can produce something, but it's the movement of the Central Coast. It's the reason why they're on top at the moment. The foul here from Noel Spencer, but at any given time, they're changing. We saw Petrie back in the midfield just before and Gumprecht up front. And it's that interchanging and movement to a rather static Sydney FC that's causing all those problems.
Well, just 10 minutes or so remaining in the first half. It has flown by. Corica. Carney. Just the better of Heffernan, makes room for the cross.
Well, David Carney getting a cross in there. Nice skill on the right-hand side, and they certainly haven't been able to bring him into play as much as they would have liked.
York skips past Gumprecht.
Well, there's a snapshot. Dwight York, beautiful bit of skill, looks up and there's just no options. Very static up the front.
Brown back to Vukovic. The goalkeeper gets it up towards the halfway. Was there a nudge on Pontiac? He feels there was. Mark Rudin can bring it down. Carney turns it over. And you might describe as a professional foul from Andrew Packer. Took out his opponent with no real intent to get the ball.
Petrie dropping off again, picking up the ball. Packer knew he was beaten and commits the foul right near the halfway line, and that takes the pressure off, cuts the flow of the game.
Dean Heffernan taking a fair while with this free kick. Played in the end by Clark, who gets it back. A patient build-up from the Central Coast. O'Sullivan. Chance here for Stewie Petrie, who worked it onto the right foot. And that will be a corner for the Mariners.
Well, the problem that time coming down the right-hand channel, Wayne O'Sullivan in acres of space. Petrie tried to make space, moves the ball from left to right. It's a snapshot, but gets a corner. But what you get is Steve Corica playing on that left-hand side. He does like to come in field, and that does open up the channel for Wayne O'Sullivan and Alex Wilkinson to get forward.
Damien Brown squinting into the sun as the corner. Good bend on it as well. Mark Rudin. Very important header away. And now Sydney with a chance to counter quickly. York full of running. Down he goes. Across making the challenge was Heffernan. Free kick to Sydney FC.
Yeah, Dwight York played that one well. Heffernan coming across. He was never going to pull out of this tackle. Slides in. York knew he was coming. He just toe pokes the ball past him, and it's a definite foul.
That's the sort of treatment I'm talking about. Dwight York has probably been on the receiving end of more hard tackles in this opening half of football than he has been for most of the season. That is a sign of what is at stake. Carney. 1 against 2. Still going, David Carney.
Poor play there, the ball given away. Again by Sydney FC. Terry McFlynn this time with the poor pass.
Through and onside is Wayne O'Sullivan. Rudin did superbly well. Mark Rudin didn't have to make the tackle, but did enough to force him inside. And the cover arrived for Sydney FC.
Oh, he did it far too easy. Little 1-2, and Sullivan, you just look at him to go on with this. Comes back inside, trying to come onto his right foot, but Mark Rudin, it's great defending. I thought the better option for Wayne O'Sullivan there was just go on with it, back your left foot.
game has been played at a frenetic pace, as you would expect of a grand final. It's warm here in Sydney this afternoon. Thankfully for the players, the shadows are now lengthening across most of the pitch, so they'll get some respite. Bruden. Well, Clint Bolton happy to take a long, long time, maybe giving his teammates a bit of a breather.
Well, what they're doing well is Central Coast, the back four, not staying deep. They're pushing right up. They're squeezing, giving Sydney little option, or no options. What that does, the ball, they get the ball at the back. Rudin and Timpano, they have nowhere to go. They know Sydney like to play it in defeat, so they're giving them no space. Beecham and Clark, very quick. They're not worried about the ball in behind. They back themselves.
O'Sullivan. Pumped forward by Vukovic. Petrie hangs in the air. Might break for Pontiac. And it does. And again, Andrew Packer with the challenge. Well, the referee's seen nothing wrong with that one. And the early release is picked out Petrovski. Still going, Petrovski. But Clark gets the better of him. And a good early release from the defender. Brown. Pontiac. No time to settle on the ball whatsoever. Carney.
And there's a snapshot. Little ball over the back, but Beecham backs his pace.
York, shoulder to shoulder. Beecham gets the better of the Sydney FC captain. He has been a pillar for the Mariners in this first half. On 3 minutes remaining in the first half here at Aussie Stadium. It's grand final time in the Hyundai A-League. We haven't seen a goal as yet, but we've had plenty of opportunities. And the Central Coast Mariners, you would suggest, have been the better of the two teams in the first half. But they don't have anything to show for it. Clark. O'Sullivan gets past Checkerling, squares it up, and again, maybe a bit too unselfish from Wayne O'Sullivan.
They probably played that one in too early, but again he got free, this time in behind Checkerling. Checkerling just trying to muscle, he doesn't judge it, and here he plays it just a bit too early. He's got Pontiac, who was just hanging off. Maybe the little back ball cut back might have been the better option, but it does give them yet another corner.
Can they make something of all this pressure, the Mariners? Swung in by Brown. Strong header away by Sasho Petrovski. Pontiac plays it down the line. Spencer has stayed forward. And some more work to do for the Sydney FC defence. We're inside the final minute of normal time in the first half. Brown with the outswinger. McFlynn looking for York. And in the meantime, Beecham is down behind play.
Yeah, the ball coming over the top, and he just crashes into the back of the head of Mark Rudin. Both going for the ball, completely accidental. Rudin with the header. Beecham staying down, and I'm sure he's a tough customer. He'll be back up. A little bit dazed.
A little bit concussed, perhaps, Michael Beecham. Head on head. Mark Rudin is also feeling the effects. Maybe a cut above the left ear of Mark Rudin.
Well, as we approach half-time, to injury time, only a minute of that, Pierre Littbarski, I'm sure, will be thinking of maybe even changing it as early as half-time. Ruben Zadkovic, obviously, on the bench, who's played and been quite good in the last month since coming in. And there's Laurie McKinnon. He'll be absolutely delighted with the performance of Central Coast. Maybe the only thing, there's the 1 minute, the only thing for Laurie, you'll feel that they maybe should have a goal. Very important to score and capitalise when you are dominating. But Zadkovic could certainly add a lot of pace to the Sydney attack.
York. O'Sullivan jumps with Bingley. The ball now breaks for Checkerley. Can Sydney FC score in the dying moments of the first half? Checkerley heads towards the byline. A low cross, easily cut out by Alex Wilkinson. A look at the watch from referee Mark Shield. Checkerley whips in the cross. The Mariners taking time to clear. Appeals for handball. The half volley. Stevie Corica puts it over the crossbar.
Well, Dwight York tries the spectacular overhead kick, and it ricochets off, and Steve Corica just didn't get it the half volley right with his left foot. That's a half a chance. Should hit the target from there.
A half a chance at the end of the first half. The Mariners have dominated the opening 45 minutes of the grand final. Sydney FC with a few counter-attacks, making a few anxious moments for Danny Vukovic in that Mariners goal. Andre Gumprecht created a lot of the early momentum. Vukovic held his line, and I'm sure a thoughtful Pierre Littbarski heads towards the dressing room. The half-time score here at Aussie Stadium: Sydney FC 0, Central Coast Mariners 0.
Well, it's been tough going for Dwight York in this Hyundai A-League Grand Final. A little bit of trickery here, but the Central Coast Mariners pretty much took care of the Sydney FC captain in the first half. We're all locked up here at 0-0 in the first ever A-League Grand Final. Central Coast have had most of the running as we look at the stats from the first half. The possession probably tells a little lie. Split down the middle, time in the opposition half. The Mariners lead that by 3 minutes more. 5 corners to 2 the Central Coast way, offsides 2-1, and 12 fouls in the match, and as yet no one in referee Mark Shield's book. So that's the way the statistics stack up from this first half here at Aussie Stadium. As I say, 0-0 at the break. Alongside me watching all the action, Richard Money and Graham Arnold. Graham, first thing, the Central Coast and midfield causing all sorts of trouble on the break, on the counter, for a Sydney defence that's pretty high.
Sydney's playing very flat at the back, aren't they? And you look at Pondelyak and Andre Gumprecht, they keep on making those runs in behind. They've been a danger all first half. Sydney look to be about 1.5 yards off the pace all over the field at the moment, and really struggling for ideas in the final third.
All right, let's get to the highlights from that first half. And Richard Money, we see it here very early on. Of course, Pondelyak providing the cross, and Gumprecht pops up.
Well, we said before the start, didn't we, that Pierre was going to play the two of them in there, Bingley and McFlynn. The idea of that would be that someone's going to pick him up, and nobody picked him up at all in the first 20 minutes. Got the freedom of the pitch, ran through the back line for fun, and they were very unlucky not to score in that period.
They moved around the park round the Central Coast, and as Richard said, they just didn't track and just seemed to be 1.5 yards behind the Coast.
Well, the runs that Gumprecht's making off the ball, he's making in between defenders. And if you make him in between defenders, either the central midfielder has to track or they have to pass on. At the moment, they're doing neither. Gumprecht and Pondelyak are having the time of their lives.
Of course, not long after that, we saw a chance for Stuart Petrie. Well, Richard, he really had a couple in the first 8 minutes, and maybe, well, for the Coast point of view, let's hope they don't look back on these chances they didn't take.
Yeah, that's right. They put Timpano under pressure there. Pondelyak could have gone in the box himself, I think, there. another 5 metres and see what happened. Maybe draw Clint Bolton and then maybe laid it square, but this is a good chance.
Graham Pondylak, speed is killing Sydney.
His mobility is hurting Sydney. He's breaking from the middle out wide in behind the fullbacks. And his mobility, he needs just a little bit more composure in and around the box. He's causing him trouble.
We have seen Stuart Petrie perhaps drop deeper in the middle, I guess to allow the quicker guys a bit more room to move down the flanks.
Yeah, look, Stewie Petrie's trying to keep the depth for them. And if Pondylak's up beside him, he'll break in behind the fullbacks. Petrie will drop in deep to try and make the extra midfielder. But Spencer and Gumprecht, Spencer's holding the midfield.
Yep.
Sydney are really struggling. They're getting outnumbered in midfield at the moment. Corica's drifting inside and it's giving Sullivan plenty of space out wide.
Well, Richard, just 4 minutes later, they're under more pressure, Sydney. This time, Alex Wilkinson up for the header and not too far wide.
No, this is another good opportunity. I wouldn't say it's a clear-cut chance.
Here it comes in here, and you see him just peel back. I guess Graham going the wrong way, couldn't get a lot of power, but breaking free of his man.
Yeah, no, he was running backwards and he can't get any power onto it, but it was a good downward header. And unfortunately for Central Coast, they didn't have someone snipping in there and around the keeper because he could have got on the end of that. But Sydney have been handling Central Coast set pieces so far quite well.
Well, it took a long time before we really saw Sydney mount any sort of challenge, Richard, and this one, Andrew Packer puts the ball in. Frustrating first half for Dwight York.
Yeah, long throw. They always put it in there when they get in that area. It's come back out to Packer. That's a great ball in. I think Dwight will be disappointed he didn't get his head on that, to be honest.
Graham, as we see it again from a different angle, they've really looked after York pretty well.
Yeah, they're looking after them well, aren't they? Look, that's a good ball in from Packer. Dwight York tries to get in behind Andrew Clark on the back post. That's the second chance Sydney's had on the back post in the first 45 minutes. Central Coast has to tighten that up.
And there is the frustration on Dwight York's face. And then we go up to the 30th minute, Richard Money, and a chance for Sasho Petrovski. Talk about frustration. He did a lot of running, but there wasn't much on the end of everything.
No, he's not had too much change out of the two centre-halves at all. This one's just dropped to him and he's hit it up first time. It's a decent effort, but, you know, you'd be surprised if that ended up in the back of the net.
Yes, Graham, just not working up front for Sydney?
They're lacking that little bit of spark at the moment. Dwight York, we talked before the game with the flight affecting the travel, the midweek game against Iceland. He looks a little bit off the pace. At the moment, Petrovski's a little bit isolated up front. David Carney's not getting that much involved in the game. Heffernan's doing a great job on him. Steve Corica's having a quiet day for Steve Corica, and we talked before, when he goes out on the left-hand side, he's not as effective as what he has been in the middle. I'd like to see him back inside and get Zavkovic back on out wide because they look a more complete unit like that.
Yeah, indeed. One of the features, of course, of Central Coast play, the transitional speed they use. Richard Money, we take a look here. Another chance, 30th minute. You'll see the turnover, and eventually it's Petrie's shot, but again, Gumprecht, the man making the charge.
Well, here he is. You can see him joining in here. Nobody's near enough at all to him. Takes his time, picks out Petrie. Another good chance, but again, it's Gumprecht's forward run. You must have someone picking him up in those situations.
Two defensive midfielders, Graham, there, and they don't really seem to be talking too well amongst each other.
Matthew Bingley's getting dragged out wide on the right-hand side because Central Coast are playing around the outside with Dean Hefton, Damien Brown. There you see Damien Brown put pressure on. Central Coast have done that well today. They're forcing the ball either to Andrew Packer or Mark Rudin. Then they're putting pressure on the player with the ball, and they're getting a lot of joy out of that.
There are the stats. Total shots, 9-5 the Mariners' way. Look at the balls in the box, 17-10. On target, just one each and one save each. So on target, I guess, Richard, that's the problem for the Coast at the moment.
Well, Laurie would be disappointed if he saw that stat, I'm sure. It's a bit of a surprise to me, only one shot on target out of 17. But he'll be very happy with the way his team's played. There's no doubt about that. I don't think he'll feel the need to make any change whatsoever. More of the same, boys, please. And Lipowski has a problem.
OK, more of the same for the Central Coast. It's still locked up here in the grand final, 0-0. We'll take a break on our live coverage. There are the Marinators waiting for the second half. Sydney FC Cove waiting to make some noise. Back after this break on grand final day. The intriguing contests around the park on grand final day. The Mariners defence up against Dwight York. They've given him no peace around Aussie Stadium. Beecham here doing a great job and making life tough for the Sydney FC skipper. We are locked up here at 0-0 on grand final day. And of course, coming up, you can see all the highlights, all the drama from the big day in the Hyundai A-League on our very own highlight show. Tuesday, 7:30 p.m. Eastern, 4:30 in the West on Fox Sports 1. Do not miss the highlight show. Half-time here on grand final day. Let's find out more from the Central Mariners head coach, Laurie McKenna, who is now with our own Murray Shaw.
Well, Laurie, you must be delighted with the way your side played in that first half. Certainly the way they settled, dominated the first 20 minutes.
Yeah, we've created 4 or 5 good chances. The boys are playing well. We're looking composed, but we just need to keep on with it. We expect Sydney will change things because we're causing them a few problems wide. We're getting in behind them, so we're expecting them to change a few things, but overall very good.
You said last week against Adelaide that you didn't really know what to say to your side at half-time. What was the message in the sheds this time?
Just keep doing the good things we're doing, keep possession, get in behind them and get quality balls in the box, and I think we've done that well in the first half. We keep that going, we should get the deserved goal.
Thanks, Laurie.
Thank you, cheers.
He'll just be praying for a goal, Laurie McKenna, in the Central Coast shed. Let's find out now in the other shed, Sydney FC, the assistant coach. We'll hear from him now, Ian Crook.
Well, Ian, what was the message from Pierre in the sheds at half-time?
Oh, we just need to improve all over the park. To be fair to Central Coast, they've been hungrier than us. They've kept the ball better than us. So, you know, we tend to pride ourselves on our possession, and we've not kept it well today.
The side looked as though they took a lot of time to settle.
Yeah, no, it's... I've never been a big advocate of the week off anyway, so it's not using it as an excuse. But no, at the end of it, at the moment, all the facets of the game, they're doing better than us.
And just finally, has Dwight York got a full 90 minutes in him?
Oh, look, we'll have to see. He's got a big heart, so, you know, hopefully he has, and, you know, we certainly need him today.
Thanks, Ian.
No problems, mate.
Some real talking points for Sydney FC. It's 0-0 in the grand final. Let's rejoin our commentators, Robbie Slater, alongside match caller Mike Cockrell.
Sydney FC with the restart. Having laid the foundations in the first half, can the Central Coast Mariners build themselves a house in the second? They have been the dominant force of the grand final. It's always a worry, though, when you don't have anything to show for it. And that will be preying on the minds, perhaps, of these Mariners players as we head into the second 45 minutes.
Well, that's what Laurie McKenna would have been thinking. Of course, he's upbeat, positive. It's been a very good performance so far. They've been quite comfortable. They've been busier, hungrier, as he said. But they haven't got a goal. Very important to get a goal when you dominate.
Heffernan with the free kick, and again he's taking a fair while. Drives it across the park looking for O'Sullivan. He gets a touch to it, and the return finds Petrie. Dangerous ball from Petrie. And what an important touch that was from Packer. Completely free. Behind him was Damien Brown. A good start to the second half from the Central Coast.
Well, they started off where they left off. This time Petrie pulls out to that right-hand channel. And Andrew Packer pedaling backwards, an important touch with Brown unmarked behind him.
Another corner for the Mariners. Swung away from goal. Came off a Sydney head. Brought down by Pondoliak. And Petrovski, not for the first time in this game, has produced some wonderful defensive work inside his own penalty area. Petrovski working hard at both ends of the park.
Tommy Pondoliak was a half chance coming from the corner. He elected to take the control. Felt he had to try and take it first time.
Heffernan. Petrie dispossessed. Well, it really is something of a mystery, you have to say, that we haven't seen a goal as yet. And that's a great ball from Beecham. Heffernan tangles with Packer. Packer recovers superbly well. Carney. Sydney need more from their number 12, David Carney.
He's been a real find of the season, but you're not going to get it from that position. He's back helping Andrew Packer. You need Carney further up the park. Sydney needs to move further up the park. But this second half has started, as the first one ended, the Central Coast Back full pushing right up to the halfway line and squeezing the space.
Timpano down the line goes Elvin Checkerley. And O'Sullivan dives in, and again that's a Sydney FC free kick. We saw a similar situation in the first half involving York and Clark. This time O'Sullivan and Checkerley.
Well, Checkerley getting in behind for one of the first times. Wayne O'Sullivan tracking back. Checkerley throwing his body in front of O'Sullivan, and it was a clumsy challenge. Mark Schill giving his free kick.
Corica clips it in. Attacking the ball was Heffernan. It breaks the pack up. In fact, it was Terry McFlynn, I think, with a shot from a fair distance. The Northern Irishman back in the 11 after a 6-week break.
As well defended from the corner, the header out. Bingley taking a touch. Checkerley with the first shot blocked. The Falstaff McFlynn takes it first time, mishits it, and so nearly fell for Mark Worden.
Good 1-2 between Petrovsky and Corica. But Michael Beecham sticks out that long leg and is caught late from behind by Corica. We haven't seen a card as yet in the grand final.
Nice, great defending from Michael Beecham. The header, Steve Corica with the 1-2 with Sasha Petrovsky. He looks to have beaten Beecham, but he's so quick. He's a big man, but he's very quick. He wins the ball, comes back, and Steve Corica forced into committing the foul.
Catching Michael Beecham on the Achilles heel, and that's very painful. Maybe a touch fortunate there, Steve Corica, not to go into the notebook. Beecham will try to run it off. Well, the Sydney fans, the Cove, doing what they do best. That's trying to spur on their team. Michael Beecham maybe still feeling the effects of that challenge. Well, so far, Pierre Littbarski has resisted the temptation to make a change. Yeah, Spencer gets the decision. The challenge came from McFlynn. The Mariners have a chance from the dead ball.
Yeah, the ball taken away from Noel Spencer. Going sideways, dribbles past McFlynn, who brings him down. There's no doubt that that was a free kick.
Brown may try to bend this one in towards the penalty spot. Needs some movement off the ball. That's where it goes. Flicked on, and it's come off the back of Dean Heffernan's head. He didn't know much about it.
No, the ball was played out. I think it comes off Alex Wilkinson first. It goes in behind. Heffernan just comes off his back. There's the first touch.
Carney played in by Petrovsky. Goes through the legs of the opponent. David Carney still going. David Carney. Vukovic with a shot. Vukovic, I should say, with a stop. And in the end, the rebound fell for Matthew Bingley, and the cover was there in the nick of time.
Well, the first time we've seen Carney get the better of Heffernan. Collects this ball. He goes for the little nutmeg. He gets it. He comes in here. I think he should pull the trigger. Left foot, go for the far post. Tries to come out, but Vukovic did ever so well covering his near post.
York has the corner. The volley was a difficult one. Difficult chance for Stevie Corica. And a couple of near misses have brought the crowd to life.
Yeah, that one comes off the outside of his boot. Maybe takes his eyes off it at the last moment, and he knows it.
I don't need to lip read for you there. Make up your own mind what Steve Corica thought of that shot. Timpano lumps it forward.
Well, Dwight York called offside there. I'm not so sure. Michael Beecham, I thought, was playing him on. Referee's assistant flag went up early. Ball's hit forward from Timpano. He's clearly onside, Dwight York.
There have been a few very, very tight offside calls in this match so far. Petrie sets it up, and Noel Spencer, who's made a habit of scoring goals from that sort of distance, just couldn't get his leg around the ball.
No, he's under severe pressure. And what great play from Stuart Petrie. Held the ball up nicely, saw Spencer coming through, lays it back. Spencer just gets the deflection, gets the corner.
Now it's the turn of the Central Coast fans to try and lift their team and spur their team on to the first goal. Corner's played short. Pondiak gets it back. Away by Bingley. Corica, the only player forward for Sydney FC. Eventually gets a run from McFlynn. And that'll be a Sydney throw. Timpano. Petrovski tangles with Beecham, forced away from goal. Fairly aimless ball there by Jacob Timpano.
That's a poor pass from Timpano. Andrew Packer in space, right full-back position. Well, he played that one to no man's land.
No signs of movement as yet on that Sydney FC bench. Pierre Littbarski has made 3 changes to his team for the grand final. Maybe match fitness will be something of an issue for both Timpano and McFlynn. Ruben Zadkovic and Tolgay Osbay, as well as Robbie Middleby, very attack-minded players with pace as well. At the moment, Pierre Littbarski happy to keep them in reserve. I'm sure a goal will change the thinking, not only of Littbarski, but of Laurie McKenna as well. Petrie. It's a run forward by Spencer. Spencer tangles with Checkley, and that was good use of the body by Alvin Checkley. Doesn't lose too many one-on-ones, Alvin Checkley. Very strong. And maybe frustration there as Noel Spencer lashes out and catches his opponent, Terry McFlynn.
Well, Noel Spencer had a case for obstruction at the other end. Alvin Checkley using his body. Spencer coming into the back of Terry McFlynn. Certainly a foul. There have been a number of tackles already this afternoon, and he's the first to go into the book.
And on the sideline, Pierre Littbarski remonstrating with the Central Coast bench because while McFlynn was on the ground, the ball was kicked straight at McFlynn, and Littbarski unhappy. Very excitable in normal circumstances or during the season, Pierre Littbarski. He's been very calm, cool and collected so far today.
Well, the season has been a procession of Pierre Littbarski processions on the sideline, and there we see it in full screen. But,
Corica cuts inside, chance for Sydney, the shot was on target, but Danny Vukovic again equal to the challenge.
Yeah, the ball played in over the top. It's a good flick on. Steve Corica comes inside, takes the shot, goes for the near post. Vukovic hangs on well. Comes inside, Wayne O'Sullivan. Good connection. Really might have been better going for the far post.
Well, things starting to bubble closer to the surface now. A few more niggling fouls creeping into the contest. Just over half an hour remaining in the grand final. It's the grand final stretch of the grand final. It's when you have to dig deep. Maybe fatigue will start to play a hand as well. Gumprecht clips it wide, and O'Sullivan at full stretch. Haven't seen so much of Andre Gumprecht in this second half. A very influential figure in the opening 45 minutes.
And that's been a testament to maybe what Sydney are doing. There's Anthony Lapalia, who's flown all the way over to see his team in the grand final. He was here for the major semi-final, so he's been racking up the frequent flyer points. But Gumprecht hasn't been as influential in the second half, certainly as he was in that first half.
Heffernan.
There you see a reason why as well. David Carney pressuring Heffernan in his own half. We didn't see that in the first half.
York spreads it wide. Carney against Heffernan. Cuts inside. Whips a dangerous ball in. Difficult ball to clear. But Wilkinson's done well. Not so Gumprecht. York. Switch of play from Dwight York. Clever ball in behind for Corica. That's a disappointing cross.
It wasn't a great cross, but David Carney, for some reason, had hung back. As the wide right-sided player, you must try and get to the back post.
Well, Brown is in behind. The flag has stayed down. And maybe a tired pass from Damien Brown. Look at the room all of a sudden for Carney. Petrovski. York, flag down at full stretch. A chance for Sasho Petrovski.
Well, it's much better play from Sydney FC. So close. Petrovski just stretching, couldn't get on the end of it. Sydney having a much better period. David Carney's becoming more prominent.
And York now starting to get into better areas for Sydney FC. Dwight York takes Clark one way and then the other. Squares it up, the shot! Sydney draw first blood in the grand final. Stevie Corica. A goal laid on the plate by Dwight York.
Well, that's magnificent play from Dwight York. Pierre Lebarski's up. It's a great finish also from Steve Corica. He still had a lot to do. But York absolutely fantastic, taking on the Central Coast Mariners defence. They drop back off him. There's two of them there. Clark and Spencer feel they should try and make a challenge, but he lays it back perfectly to Corica. Still a lot to do. Keeps his head down, angles it into the corner of the net. We talked about York being tired, but he manages to set up the Sydney FC opener.
Stevie Corica guides his shot past the outstretched arm of Danny Vukovic. Ecstasy for Pierre Lebarski. And Sydney FC have edged in front of the Hyundai A-League Grand Final.
Well, we talked about the Central Coast, all the chances they'd made and not capitalised.
Gumprecht. And the save at the near post from Clint Bolton. The goal scorer, Steve Corica. A goal to savour for the former Socceroo. Another fine piece of defending from Michael Beecham.
Well, Central Coast
behind Wilkinson.
Central Coast just need to keep their heads here. They've gone behind. Still a long way to go. They've played well. There's still a lot more to go in this game. Central Coast a very, very fit side. They need Gumprecht now to start making those runs forward.
Heffernan. Sliding interception from Andrew Packer. O'Sullivan invites Wilkinson to make the overlap. Here is Alex Wilkinson. Play on, says Mark Shield. York. 3 against 3. York faced by Clark. And Clark has done well to take the sting out of the attack. Petrovski. Sydney with a new lease of life. Dangerous ball from Petrovski over the head of the player in the middle. That was Matthew Bingley.
Yeah, Matthew Bingley making a run to the near post. It wasn't a bad cross from Petrovski, but Bingley was isolated, had to make one of the other runs, and unfortunately the cross was to the back post.
Heffernan has Brown outside. Here is Damien Brown. Cuts inside. Again, solid defending from Andrew Packer. Doesn't get a lot of kudos or a lot of credit, Andrew Packer, but very solid in that defensive role. Has done a good job in place of Mark Milligan, who was living through the agony of missing this grand final through suspension. Corica, a spring in his step. Feeds it into the path of York, left for Petrovski. Down goes Corica. The referee had a good look at it. The challenge may have been just inside the box.
Now Sydney FC making the pressing high up the pitch. That's been the difference in the second half. What a chance there for Petrovski. There's the call for the penalty. There's a clumsy challenge, really, from Alex Wilkinson. I don't think that's a penalty at all. But Petrovski had the real chance just before. His first touch maybe let him down. Got stuck between his feet. But Dwight York having a real influence on this game now. Not only that goal, he seems to have found a new pair of legs at half-time.
Yes, Dwight York now starting to live up to his reputation. Gumprecht. York again gets the better of Clark. Slides it into Petrovski, who probably wanted it a split second earlier. Well, Dwight York, having been so quiet in the first half, is now demonstrating his true qualities. The Mariners are not out of this by a long shot, although Brown at the moment is caught by the flag. Just over 20 minutes remaining, and the first change will be made. And it's going to be Matthew Osman, who has recovered sufficiently from a bout of pneumonia, and he will take the place of Damien Brown, who has run himself into the ground.
Had a fine first half, Damien Brown. He's worked hard in his second half, where you'd have to say he had the better of Packer in the first half, but I think Packer's maybe been on top in this second half, and Laurie McKenna brings on the fresh legs. It's 1-for-1. Matthew Osman will go and play on that left-hand side. The difference is he is right-footed. He will look to come back onto his right foot. Certainly, he has been ill in the last couple of weeks. I'll be interested to see how his breathing is.
It's been a hard few weeks for Matthew Osman. And Laurie McKenna believes the time is right to bring on some fresh legs. The Mariners looking for a spark. 12 games unbeaten going into the grand final, Central Coast.
Well, we talked about getting Gumprecht more into the game. Also, Tommy Ponliak, he's the other match winner for them. He's been very quiet in the second half. In the first half, he was everywhere. We need to get him on the ball, making runs in behind the Sydney defence.
Bingley. Osman with his first touch. Clips the ball over the top. O'Sullivan looking for Pondillac. And not sure who that ball came off, but Clint Bolton was herring off his line. And that could have been a catastrophe.
Well, it could have been. It came off Mark Rudin. Certainly no back pass. Mark Rudin trying to clear the ball, but luckily for him, fell into Bolton's hands.
York. Checkerley. Cross takes a deflection. There's been a tangle of arms and legs inside the box. Petrie. Look at the numbers the Mariners have at the moment. One of them is Gumprecht. Early ball in from Andre Gumprecht. It's come up ahead of Mark Rudin. That will be a Central Coast corner.
And that's a better sign. The counter-attack we're so used to seeing from Central Coast. Gumprecht with the ball in. Mark Rudin giving the ball away, or giving the corner away, really. But that was better from the coast, and they have another corner.
As though Laurie McKenna will make a second change before the corner can be taken. Will be Adam Kwasnik ready to come on. In fact, Pierre Lebarski also wants to make a substitution. And that is a big call from the coach, a defensive change. 20 minutes to go. Maybe a injury problem for Mark Rudin. The skipper makes way. Maybe in stretching to get on that cross away. Picked up an injury of some sort. And a big round of applause for Mark Rudin. Maybe a hamstring problem. And Ian Fife has come on for Sydney FC.
Well, will that be a telling blow? Will this be a critical moment? Mark Rudin's been outstanding for Sydney FC in the last few weeks.
And it comes from Pontiac. Header away by Andrew Packer. Carney. Now Bingley. Dwight York clearly enjoying himself a lot more in this second half. A tired-looking pass from Stuart Petrie has turned it over. And, likewise, Terry McFlynn. And now we may see that change for the Mariners. Kwasnik on to replace Stewie Petrie. So the equal top goal scorer for the Mariners makes way. Experience replaced by youth. Beecham. Looking for Kwasnik.
There's still Petrie going off. Adam Kwasnik, the fresh legs.
Well, we talked about a record crowd, 41,689. It is the biggest crowd ever to attend a game of club football in this state. And not a soul has left the ground. Free kick to Andre Gumprecht. In it comes from Pondeliak, and that was another important header away from Fife. So far, Sydney have done well to deal with these Mariners set pieces.
Matthew Bingley with the run forward there. Steve Corica just couldn't pick him out. Run on the right-hand side. Here's Petrovski's free kick. Maybe lucky to not get a yellow card for that one, but it did stop, again, the play for the Central Coast.
Put forward by Beecham. Fife wins it in the air. Here's Osman. The ball's come off Packer, and another corner for the Mariners. They've had 3 times as many corners as Sydney FC, Central Coast, but as I said, Robbie, Sydney have defended well from the set piece.
They have, but if you keep giving them chances, sooner or later they might make one pay.
Osman has the corner, in low, away by Packer. Osman somewhat fortunately gets it back. A better ball in, just clears the head of Wilkinson. Pondeliak. Packer. Beaten to the punch by Osman. Some desperation now from the Mariners. The shot. And it came from Wayne O'Sullivan straight down the throat of Clint Bolton. Was moving in the air, though.
Yeah, it looked like it. He picks the ball up. No one closing him down. He hits this. This moves in the air. Bolton was going one way. He comes back the other way. Grateful for that to go straight into his hands. And Central Coast territorial now, starting to push forward. Sydney with that 1-goal lead. Maybe starting to think of sitting back, playing for time. That can be dangerous.
Well, you're right off the Mariners at your peril. They are by no means out of this grand final. O'Sullivan. Clark. Mariners playing the possession game. Searching for an opening. At the moment, Sydney FC happy to retreat into their own half. O'Sullivan's kept it in. A low ball across by O'Sullivan. And some hesitation there between Bolton and Timpano could have been fatal. York. Very lucky to get away with that, Sydney FC.
There was hesitation. Bolton didn't come. And then it was Fife that sort of stabbed the Central Coast player there. Had gambled, going to the near post, would have had a tap in.
Laurie McKenna has produced a wonderful season for the Mariners, and they've given a wonderful performance on the biggest stage as well. But it may be a case of so near yet so far. Those sort of thoughts will start to enter the mind of the coach. Still time. Heffernan beaten to the punch. Another tidy piece of defending from Andrew Packer. Vukovic goes long. Header from Chekali. Kwasnik gets the bounce. Pondolyak dispossessed by Fife. We've got just over 10 minutes left in the grand final, and the goal from Steve Corica provides the difference. Chekali, good ball. Corica with a run in behind. Wilkinson stretches, and superb defending from the young Mariners player Alex Wilkinson. Petrovski. He thought about tipping the goalkeeper. That was the intent from Sasho Petrovski.
They probably had no other option. Made a little bit of space for himself. He's a little bit unlucky. He gets underneath it. Head came up a bit and it sails over the bar, but he's had a much better second half, Sasha Petrovski. Good skill there. Gets out of his feet, but he's under pressure. Skies it over. But Alex Wilkinson, just a moment before that, great defending, nearly caught out by Steve Corica.
Oh, Jacob Timpano replaced by Ruben Zedkovic, two players born and bred in Wollongong. And we'll see a reshuffle with Bingley going into the heart of that Sydney FC defence. Some very, very tired legs from Jacob Timpano as he headed to the bench. Again, good play from Dwight York. Here's Fife. Dwight York turns away from Beecham. Mistake made there by Clark. Shot from Carney was blocked. It was Wilkinson. Andrew Packer goes to ground. The challenge from Gumprang. The free kick for Sydney FC. He's had a magnificent second half, Andrew Packer.
He has. I thought he struggled a little bit in the first half where Damien Brown had the better of him, but what a reaction in the second half from Andrew Packer. Defensively, he's been superb, and now he's taking the sting out of the Central Coast by attacking them right down in the end, at their end of the pitch, overlapping, and he wins this free kick for Sydney, who seem to again taking the dominance in this game.
Carney over the free kick, whips it in. Chance here hasn't been cleared by the Mariners. Now it has eventually by Adam Kwasnik.
And interesting to see Ruben Zedkovic, the substitute, coming on. The games he's played wide in the left-hand side of midfield. He's come on here and he's playing central.
Corica. And that should be a Mariners throw. It is quickly taken by Beecham. They want to get a move on. O'Sullivan slides it down the line. Chekali gets there in front of Adam Kwasnik, goes back to his goalkeeper. Very cool play from Clint Bolton.
I guess it's rather telling that despite plenty of pressure, Clint Bolton hasn't really had to make any difficult saves in this match.
No, particularly go back to the first half where Central Coast did have some very, very good opportunities, but they failed to hit the target or make Bolton make a save. So in that respect, he's been a bit under pressure with corners.
Clark gets there in front of Zatkovic. They need a spark now, the Mariners. Time starting to become an issue. They'll make another change. Paul O'Grady will add some height to the attack for the Central Coast. And off goes Alex Wilkinson, or will O'Grady go to the defensive line? We'll just have to wait for a moment and see. Of course, Paul O'Grady, normally a defender, but he often comes on at this stage of the game to play as a central striker. Clark pumps it forward. Bolton has spilled it, but gets a favourable bounce.
Oh, the ball was too deep from Andrew Clark, flying it in. There's Paul O'Grady, and he will stay up front by the looks of it. Just make himself a nuisance up front, so Central Coast don't like to play a long ball, but they're forced into it now. Play it long, and O'Grady will go on, try and get some flick-ons for the Kwasnik, Gumprecht, Matthew Osmond to run onto.
Just over 5 minutes remaining. The Central Coast searching for a lifeline. Searching for a goal to take the game into extra time. Sydney FC looking to hold on to what they already have, and it is a very substantial prize indeed. The goal from Steve Corica. Sydney FC are 5 minutes away from the championship.
Well, last 5 minutes is tied legs out there on Sydney FC side as they sink back onto their 18-yard box. That can be dangerous, but Central Coast throwing everything forward will be open to their counter-attack.
And here is York on the counter with a switch of play, looking for Carney. That is a tired pass from Dwight York. He stood tall though for Sydney FC when it mattered. Had a huge role in that goal from Corica. Heffernan. Down goes Kwasnik. Tackle came from Fife. The referee playing the advantage. Will there be some? Not in the end. And again,
Well,
Terry McFlynn working hard.
Terry McFlynn getting his head up. He was looking for Petrovski to make a run into space, but Petrovski just couldn't do it. And they've given away possession. Giving it away all the time now, Sydney FC.
O'Sullivan cleared by Bingley. Here's York. Gets the return from Petrovski. Just can't get the ball from under the boots there, Dwight York. Now Carney. Heffernan. Good tackle. Wins it cleanly.
Yeah, it's a good tackle from Dean Heffernan. What a battle that's been. Heffernan, the most times I'd say has been on top. David Carney usually backs himself on his right foot. Takes left fullbacks on the outside. Today we haven't really seen that. And we saw it once when he got through the nutmeg on Heffernan, but from that he comes inside. And of course that's good for Beecham and Clark. It's where they can deal with it.
2 against 1, and numbers count. York gets a good run off the ball from Zatkovic. Fresh legs from the youngster. Trucking back is O'Sullivan. He comes inside, Zatkovic.
Well, there's a youngster at work. He comes inside, an older player, more experienced player, might have run that down into the corner, near the corner flag, waste time. Not Zatkovic. He's looking to get on the score sheet.
Checkerley happy to pump that one up the other end of the park. 2 and a bit minutes remaining. Some rather glum faces on that Central Coast bench.
Ball turned over again. This time it's Zadkovic going back. But his head up. He's looking to hit Petrovski, but really that was the only option, and they give possession away again. Now, can the Central Coast make this possession pay?
There is not a lot of time on the clock. And Clint Bolton will be determined to eat up as much of that clock as he can.
Yeah, clever play from Bolton. Could have picked that up straight away. Elected to let it bounce, run some more seconds.
McFlynn, now Corica. That's Petrovski inside. Well, if he does end up on a beaten side, Michael Beecham, he can feel very, very proud of his individual performance.
He certainly can, Mike. What a wonderful performance from the new Socceroo. Made his debut against Bahrain as Middleby comes into the action. And will run some more precious seconds away for Sydney FC. With Michael Beecham, an outstanding performance for the Central Coast Mariners in the heart of their defence. Petrovski's the one to give way.
It's an early mark for the birthday boy, Sasho Petrovski. Will he be celebrating later tonight with a championship medal hanging around his neck? He hopes so. We're inside the final 60 seconds. Middleby is on for Sasho Petrovski. Beecham with the up and under.
And Petrovski just went off. Great second half from him as well. It's not easy playing up there on your own. He's worked across the line. He's been up against the outstanding Beecham and Clark. He's done a lot better in the second half, holding the ball up. Little 1-2s.
We're into stoppages, and there's 3 minutes to be added on to the end of the grand final. Will there be time enough for the Central Coast Mariners? Or will Sydney FC hang on? The biggest 3 minutes of the season, probably the hardest 3 minutes of the season for both of these teams.
Well, it'll feel like the shortest 3 minutes for the Central Coast, but for Sydney and their fans, it'll seem like a lot longer.
Whipped in by Pondoliak. And Fife with the header. The Mariners have the corner.
And Fife getting up there, I thought he was up early enough and had a good look at it to head that one to safety, but he elects to flick it on and give Central Coast another corner.
In it comes. Out comes Bolton. Gets a glove to it. Chance here for O'Sullivan. And Bolton has tipped it over the bar. The whistle had already gone, though. It wouldn't have counted. But drama in the dying stages.
Well, the free kicks for impeding Clint Bolton. Not sure how true that was. O'Sullivan, it's a decent connection. He was under pressure. Bolton tipped that one over. The whistle had already gone. For me, a non-existent foul on Clint Bolton.
It is deafening, and I mean deafening here at Aussie Stadium. O'Sullivan. Kosnick heading away from goal. Middleby provided the numbers. There can't be much time left in the grand final. Pondoliak, tired cross, the interception. It came from McFlynn. And he's happy to play that ball into the opposition half. And look at the watch from Mark Shield. Free kick to the Central Coast. They'll throw everyone forward. The goalkeeper as well. Danny Vukovic goes into the opposing penalty area. Pondeljak goes deep. Out comes Bolton. What a save from Clint Bolton. The save of the season.
Well, that's great goalkeeping from Clint Bolton. Takes the pressure off his defence.
York, there is the final whistle. Well, they're the biggest, and now they're the best. Sydney FC are the champions of Australia. Sydney FC have won the Hyundai A-League Grand Final, and when it counted, the big players came up with the big plays. Dwight York laying on the goal, Steve Corica scoring the goal, and Sydney FC have won the championship.
Much better second half, and in the end, a quality performance, you have to say, from Dwight York. He looked out of the game in the first half, but he is the one that's turned this game. He made the goal, and he was a touch of class in the COVID dancing, but the Central Coast, a brave performance. They needed to capitalise in that first half. They didn't, and in the end, that's what paid.
And some crestfallen Central Coast players, well, they gave it absolutely everything, but in the end, it wasn't enough. And Sydney FC, in front of their own fans here at Aussie Stadium, have made history. The final score in the inaugural Hyundai A-League Grand Final is Sydney FC 1, Central Coast Mariners 0.
Well, the Sky Blue mission is complete. Alongside me, the Newcastle Jets coach, Richard Money. Look, a lot of quality from Sydney in the second half, Richard, but Central Coast, boy, they did have a shot at it.
They gave it everything they had. I thought Sydney played really well in the second half. Full credit to them. I thought Dwight York was sensational in the second period. And the difference is a little bit of quality on the edge of the box at the right time. Central Coast in those positions 2 or 3 times in the first half. York and Corica conjured up the all-important goal. Well done, Sydney.
Indeed so. Well, that goal came from Steve Corica. Let's go down now to the goal scorer in the grand final.
Steve scoring the winning goal in a grand final. Does it get much better than that?
It doesn't, mate. You know, I've had a long career, and, you know, that's got to be, you know, my favourite moment of the 15, 16 years being a professional. You know, we worked really hard today. They put us under a lot of pressure, but, you know, our defence stood strong. And just thanks to all the crowd here today.
It's an amazing start to the history of this club.
Yeah, let's hope it keeps going. You know, we're the first A-League Grand Final winners. You know, we're pleased with that, Murray.
Thanks, Steve. I'll let you get back and celebrate.
Cheers, mate. Cheers.
There is Steve Corica, of course, the goal scorer. Players come together. Richard Money. Well, what a result this is for Sydney. They were favourites at the start. Litbarski could be on his way out, so we'll have to wait and see what happens there.
Well, I don't think anyone will be too bothered about that tonight, to be honest with you. They're deserved winners. Let's be honest. You know, I know Adelaide have been terrific throughout the whole league season, but in this final series, Sydney have really come good. They've won the World Club Championship final, and now they've won the Grand Final. You can't ask any more than that. And it's great for the A-League, let's be honest. You know, Sydney winning will put the league on the map.
Yep.
43,000 people here. It's exactly what the A-League needed. And now it's up to the rest of us to test them next year.
Indeed so. OK, well, one of the Mariners who fought tooth and nail all day is Wayne O'Sullivan.
Well, Wayne, you're so close yet so far.
Yeah, it's been a fantastic trip. Great season for the Mariners, and I've been a lot of places in my life, but I can honestly say I'm very, very proud to be from the Central Coast today.
Wonderful support here today for you as well.
Unbelievable. These guys, all these guys that came down today, all the guys back on the Central Coast. We thank you from the bottom of our hearts. Without you guys, we've never got this far, and hopefully next year we'll go one step further.
You really controlled the first half. It's probably when you needed to score a goal to get that advantage.
Yeah, you know, Arnie, it's one of them things, when you're on top in football, you've got to capitalise on your chances. Unfortunately, we didn't take them, and we got punished second half.
OK, thanks. Thanks, Wayne.
Pleasure, thank you.
There he is, Wayne O'Sullivan for the Central Coast Mariners. They come together. What a battle it's been out there. Sydney FC coming back. They're under pressure in that first half. Sydney, Central Coast had a real crack on goal, but in the end they turned it around, the boys in Sky Blue, and have done the job. They are the inaugural Hyundai A-League champions. Dwight York, he provided the goal for Steve Corica, and they celebrate now. We'll take a break on our live and exclusive coverage. On the other side, all the presentation and all the colour from Grand Final Day. Celebrating the inaugural A-League Grand Final. They did it tough. They battled away. They got the second half goal. And Graham Arnold, that's what it means to a side that's been up on the pedestal all season.
Well, everyone's called them the glamour club of the season, the benchmark, and their players have stood up today. First half they were a bit scrappy, but second half, Dwight Yorke got into his own, took over the tempo of the game, came up with a critical assist for them, but really started to control the tempo of everything.
And Richard Money, the support there, you can just dream about that sort of support.
Well, that's what the A-League's all about. FFA will be absolutely delighted with that. And the other coach, watch out.
Yes, the Cove fans, they've done it terrifically well, Graham Arnold all season, but you just had that feeling in the game that if the Coast didn't take their chances early, Sydney always had that bit of quality that could have bitten them on the backside.
Well, the first 30 minutes is really when the Central Coast dictated the tempo of the game and had some good half chances. That's when they needed to capitalise. That's when they needed to score, because that's when they could have put the pressure back on Sydney. They didn't do that. Sydney ended up gradually getting into the game, whether it was nerves or the pressure of the big crowd and expectations, who knows. But Dwight Yorke took the tempo of the game. Sydney started getting more in their rhythm and their role, and the rest is history.
The rest is history. Sydney have done it in this first grand final. Let's go down now to the presentation area and join Luke Elvey.
I can't hear anything.
The Hyundai A-League season. What about that, ladies and gentlemen? When the Hyundai A-League was launched back in August last year, they came with the slogan, football, but not as you know it. Well, isn't it nice to know that football in this country is back in a very big way? And the gentlemen standing on the stage next to me for the official presentation have had a big part in that, and I'd like to introduce them now. First of all, the Football Federation Australia Chairman, Mr. Frank Lowy. The Minister for Arts and Sport, Senator, the Honourable Rod Kemp. Hyundai Australia Chief Executive Officer, Mr. Steve Yeo. Football Federation Australia CEO, Mr. John O'Neill. The New South Wales Premier, the Honourable Morris Yemma. And ladies and gentlemen, one of the greats of Australian football, Mr. Joe Marston. Well, the inaugural Hyundai A-League season kicked off on Friday the 26th of August last year. 8 teams, 21 competition rounds and 4 weeks of finals. And now we have our champions, Sydney FC. Commiserations must go to the Central Coast Mariners, but ladies and gentlemen, their inspirational story has lifted a community and they go home winners as well. Football Federation Australia would like to thank the clubs, the players, supporters, administrators, officials and volunteers for helping to revitalise the game of football in Australia. Last week at Hindmarch Stadium in Adelaide, the 1 millionth fan passed through the gates, a huge achievement. to the official partners, Hyundai, wonderful supporters, Qantas, Telstra, Coca-Cola, Zurich Australia, and broadcast partner Fox Sports. Thank you very much for your support and, more importantly, believing in the Hyundai A-League. I would like now to call upon the New South Wales Premier, the Honourable Maurice Yemma, to present the medals to the official match party. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage your referee, Mark Schill. His assistants, Nathan Gibson and Ben Wilson. And the fourth official, Matthew Breeze. Premier, if you would like to stand by. Maurice Yemma will now present medallions to the runners-up in the inaugural Hyundai A-League season, the Central Coast Mariners. Can I please call upon their captain, Noel Spencer, to say a few words.
Firstly, to the Premier, Mr. Lowy, John O'Neill, what a fantastic job they've done this season. Delivered a fantastic product and delivered on all fronts, and I think it's just a sign to come. Football is back in Australia. To Sydney FC, congratulations on a fantastic result today. Our boys give it everything we had and just fell a little bit short. To our guys, what a bunch of blokes, fantastic squad. Showed character, showed guts and determination, and full credit to guys, legends. To the fans, absolutely tremendous. To the Marinators, we love you. To all the Sydney fans, congratulations. Once again, thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, please thank Noel Spencer, captain, the Central Coast Mariners, and his team. Number 1, John Crawley. Number 2, Wayne O'Sullivan. Number 3, Paul O'Grady. Number 5, Michael Beecham. Number 6, Andre Gumprecht. Number 7, John Hutchison. Number 8, Dean Heffernan. Number 9, Nick Merger. Number 10, Tom Pondolyak. Number 11, Damien Brown. Number 12, Stuart Petrie. Number 15, Andrew Clark. Number 16, Nigel Bogard. Number 17, Matthew Osman. Number 18, Alex Wilkinson. Number 19, Adam Kwasnik. Their goalkeeper, number 20, Danny Vukovic. Number 22, Jamie McMaster. Number 24, Des Giraldi. Number 30, Matthew Trott. Their coach, Laurie McKenna. Their assistant coach, Ian Ferguson. And the development manager, Alex Tobin. Once again, congratulations to the players and officials of the Central Coast Mariners. Well, ladies and gentlemen, the player of the grand final will be awarded the Joe Marston Medal. Now, Joe Marston is one of the true greats of Australian football, having represented his country on 37 occasions. He also played in the 1954 FA Cup final the Preston North End. Ladies and gentlemen, the inaugural Hyundai A-League Joe Marston medalist, Sydney FC captain Dwight Yorke. Dwight, if you'd like to come here and stand on stage, I believe you'll have a few words to say in just a few moments. And I call upon New South Wales Premier, the Honourable Maurice Yemma, who will now present the inaugural Hyundai A-League champions with their medals. Ladies and gentlemen, their captain, Dwight Yorke and Sydney FC.
Thank you very much. First, I want to thank the Mariners for putting on a fantastic game. They played very, very hard against us today and probably didn't deserve to lose, certainly on the first half. But it's all about taking your chances. And I'm proud of my team today and being the captain of Sydney FC. This is a very proud moment for everyone. I would like to thank the fans of Sydney FC who has been tremendous all throughout the season. Even our really bad time in the season, the fans have come out in the numbers and support the team. And hopefully that today, with being the grand final champions, that the people are going to be proud of this team and continue to support this team throughout the year. Also, the management staff, the people behind the scene of Sydney FC, what a tremendous effort from all of them. There is always a lot of people who don't get a lot of credit for the things behind the scene. We want to thank everybody who has been involved with Sydney FC, and let's party tonight. Thank you.
Congratulations, Dwight. You certainly deserve it. And I'd like to call upon the Senator, the Honourable Rod Kemp, Minister for Arts and Sport, and also Mr Steve Yeo, Hyundai Australia's Chief Executive Officer, to please present Dwight with the Hyundai A-League Championship trophy. People that helped Dwight win the championship onto the stage. Can they please come forward? Number 1, goalkeeper, Clint Bolton. Number 2, Ian Fife. Number 3, Alvin Checkerley. Number 4, Mark Rudin. Number 6, Ufuk Chile. Number 7, Rob Biddleby. Number 8, Matthew Bingley. Number 9, David Krilich. Ladies and gentlemen, the goal scorer, number 10, Steve Corica. Number 11, another big hit, Sasha Petrovsky. Number 12, Dave Carney. Number 14, Andrew Packer. Number 15, Terry McFlynn. Number 16, Mark Milligan. Number 17, Jacob Timpano. Number 18, Wade Ustendorf. Number 20, Justin Pansfield. Number 22, Ruben Zadkovich. Number 24, Tolgate Osbey. Ladies and gentlemen, spare a thought for their Japanese import, Kazu. Their coach, Pierre Litbarski. Assistant coach, Ian Crook. Goalkeeper coach, Jim Fraser. Their physiotherapist, Mr. Stan Ivancic. The key steward is Joe Newton. And their media liaison officer, David Mason. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the inaugural Hyundai A-League champions.
Well, that is a sight for the ages. Sydney FC celebrate, and Graham Arnold alongside me. Look, the postscript will be quite interesting to read it all, because you go back to the start, it was Sydney FC who wanted to be bolder, wanted to be braver. They rolled the dice, and we do know that fortune favours the brave.
Well, you couldn't have ripped the script any better, could you? Because at the start of the season, they had the initiative to go and sign someone like Dwight Yorke, Pierre Litbarski as coach. And all the hard work they've done. They've had a lot of games this year. They performed well at the World Club Championship. They'd be very, very proud of this occasion, and so should all the Sydney FC supporters, the board and everyone. This is why they play football, win these type of awards, and to win these trophies, it'll be a night to remember for a lot of these people.
Richard Money, Sydney, they went to the Club World Championship as well. They're well and truly on the football map, this club. Now, what will it do from the coach's point of view, bringing players back, players locally, players from any part of the world joining this league?
Well, there's no doubt that Sydney winning the competition is going to raise the profile enormously. Today's occasion will raise it even more. And, you know, everyone around the world will know that the A-League is on the map, and that's good news for everybody here in Australia. Sydney, as Graham has said, they are the yardstick, they are the benchmark. Now it's up to everybody else. Do you want to be part of it or not?
Fair enough. Okay, well, the first up, Joe Marston medalist, the marquee man himself. Let's go down and find out more from Dwight Yorke.
Well, Dwight, you got the trophy. Tell us, Dwight, big trip back from overseas, a lot of talk. How does it feel?
Yeah, this is fantastic. You know, I'm so pleased for everybody involved in the Sydney FC, more so for the players, the people who work behind the scene extremely hard, the management staff, everybody who has been fantastic, who stick with the team, all the sort of negative talks around the team. This team has shown a lot of character, and I'm very, very proud to be the captain of this team.
Central Coast did well in the first half, but, well, big players, they say, stamp their class in big matches, and you certainly did that in the second half.
Well, we needed to. We realized that we got out of the jail, and all credit to Central Coast. They came up with a game plan, and everything went perfectly well for us. Maybe one or two nervous players, and understandable, because the fact that, you know, they're playing at home, that's always going to add additional pressure. But again, you know, we needed to stand up and be counted for, and the main players came up with the goods, which was important.
Now, they say jet lag, it makes you tired in the second half and that you don't last the game, but you just seem to get stronger and stronger.
Well, that was always been one of my forte. If there's anything, I always start a little slow, and something that I've always tried to improve on. But I get stronger as the game goes on and realize that I had to stamp my authority in the game and take the bull by the horn, so to speak. And lucky enough, things have worked out well, and we got that vital goal.
Go and enjoy the party, Dwight.
I certainly will, Robbie.
He provided the goal for Corica. Let's hear now from Pierre Littbarski, the winning coach.
Pierre, the smile, nervous 90 minutes?
Absolutely. I think the Mariners did very well, especially first 45 minutes. We were really lucky. And second half was a little bit better, and we scored a lucky goal. But I think they're also a good team.
What about half-time? It wasn't going to plan at half-time. What did you say to the players?
Actually, we didn't run that much. We didn't work hard. In second half, I said we have to add a little bit more, pass the ball longer because every ball was gone. And in the final, even in the final, you must play football. And we played a little bit better second half.
Now, Pierre, you've seen a lot of amazing seasons in your career. How does this rate?
Absolute fantastic. Maybe I have a short moment to say thank you to my staff, Ian Crook and Jim Fraser and Darren Welch, and Bob Meso, and also to Joe Niuta and Stan Avanchit. They were just great, and they made it so easy for me here because I came here and I knew nothing, and I had a good teacher with Ian Crook. So I really enjoyed it here, and let's see what is next year.
So Pierre, can you tell us, will you be back?
I will be back for sure. You invited me already to come swim in your pool. All the other things at the end of March, and then we will see.
Go and enjoy the night, Pierre. Well done.
I enjoy it. I go back to Germany now. Thanks.
Great to see a smile on Littbarski's face, and Graham Arnold, that is the big question, I guess. Will he be back? Because he's going straight back to Germany virtually, World Cup commitments, and it's been a tough mental ride for him with all the talk over his contract.
Well, look, it hasn't been an easy week for him, has it? And, you know, there's been a lot of speculation on whether he'll be in charge again next year. I don't know what else the guy has to do. You know, he's done everything possible. He's performed well in the World Club Championship. He's won the title for Sydney. And, you know, it will take a big decision come the end of March if he does walk away.
Richard Money, given, I guess, what Sydney put on the line in this first season, if they had not have got the win today, would you go out on a limb and say it was a first-up failure?
That's a good question, Neil. It's not easy, you know. People think you get the best players and spend the most money. You are the glamour club. Things are going to fall into place. It doesn't work like that. They've had to work as hard as everybody else this year. And, you know, to be the coach of that team has not been easy at times. And Pierre Littbarski's come through some good times and some bad times, and he's ended up a winner. And we all have to take our hat off to him for that.
Yeah, we do indeed. There's a great shot of Sydney. And tell you what, Graham Arnold, when Dwight York says we're going to have a party, how do you get a ticket to that one?
Well, we don't know where it will be at, but we want to try and get an invitation to that because Dwight York knows how to party. But look, everyone on screen there deserves all full credit. They've put a lot of hard work in. They've stuck together as a team. You know, they've had a lot of pressure on them over the whole year. They're the team that everyone's wanted to beat.
Sure.
And they've had to tough it out mentally as well as physically, and it's full credit to them.
Just following on from that, Richard, look, it's been one of those competitions where most sides could beat other sides on the day. Sydney, we know about their big names, but certainly the Central Coast, but other sides as well had at some stage had a real shot at this.
Look, I think if you look at the season, Adelaide have run away with the league. Central Coast and Sydney have played in the two major finals. They're probably a little bit ahead of the rest at the minute. We were happy enough to finish in the 4, but it could have been Perth, could have been Queensland, could have been Melbourne just as easily. The rest of us have been asked a question today. I think Sydney will get better. They've had a taste of the World Club Championship. They'll want more of it.
Yep.
Adelaide will be obviously kicking themselves for not being in this final.
Sure.
And Central Coast have done everything asked of them. The other 4 teams, plus New Zealand, of course, I think they've got some serious decisions to make over this period, the next 6 months.
Yep.
And we've got to make the same strides.
Okay, well, of course, one of the men responsible for Sydney FC short, but very successful existence, a major shareholder without a trace actor, Anthony LaPaglia.
Well, Anthony, was it worth the trip?
Absolutely. I wouldn't have missed this for the world. It was unbelievable. It's a huge day in Australian football. It's the biggest domestic crowd ever, and I think it's the start of something huge.
Now, you said at the start of the season when you became a shareholder that it wasn't all about winning and it's not that important to win, but it does feel good.
I lied.
So what's the party tonight?
I think there's a big party at Star City, I think, or everybody come on down. I won't tell you which room it's in. There's going to be a big celebration tonight. It's been a long, hard year for the boys, and they really deserve to be able to let loose tonight.
Well done, Anthony. All the best, and have a safe trip back home.
Robbie, it's great to see you again. All right. See you later.
Another hit-and-run mission, a successful one from Anthony LaPaglia, Graham Arnold. Now, that man has probably more frequent flyer points than you.
Well, as he said, he wouldn't miss this for the world, and, you know, I rate that, you know, Anthony LaPaglia, who's put his money where his mouth is, and being the shareholder of Sydney FC, getting on the plane and flying back for the important games, he'll have a great night as well.
That is inspirational stuff, Richard Money. But I guess you look at both sides. We look at Sydney celebrating, but boy, the Central Coast, a new footballing centre in this country.
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously very important for them to go as far as they have done. They'll want to push on again next year. Strange, you know, there we were all talking about them being full of running and everything else, but they actually looked a little bit tired in the second half.
Yep.
And they've had 3 really tough matches to get here. And maybe just at the end it caught up with them, I don't know.
Okay, well, there was just the one goal in this A-League Grand Final, and it came from Steve Corica. Let's have a look here, Graham Arnold. Of course, we talk about the individualism. Well, simple play, really. They hung off York. He cut it back for Corica.
Dwight York showed his class. Look at Central Coast retreating, giving him so much time on the ball, but he could actually pass it where he wanted to. Steve Corica, who come in late and in behind him on the blind side, just a nice little side foot into the far post. And that's a decisive thing. Someone put pressure on Dwight York there. He can't get the time on the ball to make that pass. Could be a different story now.
Corica must still be in the Asian Cup picture.
Oh, absolutely. Steve Corica's had a great year, and he's a player that's, you know, 31, 32 years of age. He's super fit.
Yep.
He's come back from overseas. He's a player that maybe a lot of clubs might not have looked at, but Stevie's come back and really proven to himself, as well as the Australian public, what a good player he is.
And that is the way Litbarski celebrated. It was the only goal. It was the championship goal. And, well, the stats tell a story, Richard Money. Possession the Mariners' way. Time in the opposition half. They pretty much led that. Over a 3-to-1 ratio corners. So I guess Laurie McKinnon will look back at a golden missed opportunity. Yeah, missed opportunities. You know, we said in the first half there's 17 shots and only 1 on target. And, you know, whilst he'd be quite happy with the way that they played, they didn't really test Clint Bolton that much throughout the whole game. And Sydney in the second half kept possession really well and moved the ball about well. And that's probably one of the only times in the game that Yorkie had a chance to run at anybody. And he showed his quality. He showed his quality indeed, as we see some of the more shots on the ground from Sydney FC. The party will go all night. But look, one season down only, Graham Arnold, but I'm sure there's a few Sydney fans thinking might be the start of a dynasty.
Well, you know, next year's another year. You know, the benchmark has been set now. They've won the league in the first year. All the teams that wanted to beat them this year are going to, you know, go up another level. Yep. I imagine every other club's going to go out and strengthen. They know what the A-League's about this year. Maybe some of the other clubs underrated the level of the A-League this year. They're going to go out and buy better players.
Yep.
So the second year is always the toughest for everyone, and especially for Sydney FC to at least get back to this level again.
We do look forward to that, the second season in the A-League. Richard Money from the Newcastle Jets, thanks very much for your input today. It's been quite a day, and I'm sure one that you'll aspire to in the future. Thanks, Neil. I've enjoyed it very much. It's certainly whetted my appetite, and I'm sure it has everybody else. Great stuff. And Graham, all the best, and thank you very much for your input.
Thanks a lot, Neil. Enjoyed it very much.
That's it. Richard Money and Graham Arnold alongside me for our historic live Grand Final Day coverage in the Hyundai A-League. Thanks for joining us. Sydney FC are the champions, and there are the championship spoils. It's been a wonderful season. I have been proud to bring it all to you, and I've had a great team alongside me. On behalf of Richard Money, Graham Arnold, and all the hard-working Fox football team, I'm Neil Evans. For the last time in the first season, it's goodbye from Aussie Stadium. Underway here at Newcastle. The cross comes in, and it is in, and Adelaide United score the historic goal.
And it goes. York, yes, he gets it. That's what the fans came to see. Unbelievable.
And there's the equaliser. Petrie. And here's Aloisi, who tries to dip it.
for Sydney. Hutchinson for the Mariners. Here is Alvin Checkerley. Otome hesitates. Surely Sydney are into the grand final. And the Mariners draw first blood. Sydney FC are the champions of Australia.
A-League champions.